Are you excited, Pika? Are you excited?
I'm super excited. So excited.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. No, Ted, that is not a god tier character. So, ladies and gentlemen, the way that we are doing the tier list is a little bit different to the way that you might have seen it before. First of all, you are going to have the work of the absolute genius that is Pika. All right, so he does all the infographics for us. I guarantee you've seen his work before. Now, talk about the design of this for us, mate. What is all these legends down the bottom? What do all these things mean, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we wanted to do is put together a tier list that broke characters down a little bit more accurately into their, corresponding groups, but also if somebody shined in a specific game mode like War or in Raid, that they really stood above their sort of station in that mode, that we wanted to call that out. As well as if somebody, performs singularly as a standalone character, but go to the next level when they're in their synergy team, we wanted to call that out as well, so that you understand, okay, standalone, here's where this character is, but in their given team, with all of those synergies and bonuses, what are they capable of there as well? So the red outline and little war lightning bolt energy symbol denotes a character that is basically a top tier character in Alliance War.
Absolutely.
Green bolt will denote a top tier raid character. We only have a few because so many of the top tier raid characters are good throughout the game, but they're on there as well. And then anytime there's a synergy tier increase, and the number that's mapped out as well.
Absolutely. And people are asking about what is this banana? What's this banana about?
That's it. You got to be in the A&R family to understand the banana.
That's right. That's literally a shout out to us. I think we might have to remove the word meta there, though, mate, because I think there might be some people that are going to see that and think we're actually serious. So you're probably just going to say banana equals banana, I think.
We'll take care of it.
Yeah. But that's staying on there, Cravino and the guys. Like, we are absolutely leaving that on the official tier list. There must always be a banana character in the game. If there is not a banana, the world as we know it will end. All right. So there's a couple of different tiers we've got. So we have Junk. Pike is included in another tier, and I think it's a great idea to do so because there are some characters where they were so close to being like up into, almost demigod type status or even good, and then an ocean of difference between people, and you kind of had to put them in the same tier. So what we've done is we split it up between Junk tier, that's the wrong button. We have our average tier, good tier, we have our low demigod tier, demigod, and god. So this is after one of our favorite personal streamers, which was Sen, not Sen. Sen is one of our favorite streamers, though, don't get me wrong. What's his name? Seaton, who we've watched for years. We love the format he did with his tier lists many moons ago. So yeah, we have gone with a very formula setup. So let's start from the bottom and work our way up to the top. That seems like the best way to do it, Pika. Let's kick off. Why is the Stitcher a banana?
Because he's the meta.
Here's the meta. Yeah. So look, he's useless as a character, of course. But for the memes,
Absolutely.
he's top tier. For the memes, he's top tier, 100%. So I mean, I think that's what we need to have is meta meme. Maybe that's what banana means. I think we'll need input as to what banana means. Boomer, just like the species, irrelevant. I think every time C is one of those, you just say, okay, Boomer. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Ravager Bruiser, similar fate. I mean, by far one of the most useless characters in this game. And the only named, well, actually, there's two named characters down here, barely. But Nebula, as always, must be on the bottom. She is the queen of the wet noodle. And I'm not saying wet noodle in a fun way. She's a terrible, terrible character. All right, then we have Merc Soldier, who unfortunately got left out of that rework. It was a bit of a bummer not to see him, because with that AoE, he had some potential, right?
Yeah, and of course, the Merc that I have the best red stars on is the Merc in the Junk tier that didn't get any rework love, so
that makes you feel better. I got like a 5 red star Hydra Grenadier, so we'll come to that in a sec, right?
I've got a 6 red star Hydra Grenadier.
Oof, that's not what you want. All right, then we come to, now this one we debated quite a bit during the week, which is Merc Sniper, who is one of the better ones as far as how much damage it can do. But because he did get a little bit, and I mean a tiny bit, we were debating putting him as a good +1 in a Merc team, or basically was he junk everywhere else? And we kind of fell on the side of junk. Are you still feeling like we want to keep him down here?
Yeah, I do.
I think so. I mean, the fact that, Killmonger is pretty much dominating in that mercenary team now anyway on war defense. They're just so incredible with him in there. Like, all of it's still pretty much junk. So I think we got it right with the junk +2. He gets significantly better in that team. He can use his ability to do his snipe twice in a row because of the energy feed from Merc Lieutenant. But otherwise, he is still utter trash.
Definitely agree.
All right. Now, the missing member of the Blue Man group, we found him. He was down here in the junk tier, the Kree Oracle. Now, this is one that we thought, in the right team, like with Ronin and with a Kree Royal Guard actually feeding energy, would he come out of junk into, say, out of that good tier, right? Could he make it that high up? And I think both of us established that even then he's pretty rubbish, mainly because his special does nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't. And he's the first one you're going to lose out of that team in most cases.
Yeah. And when that team has like Reaper in it, who is okay, like she does a lot of damage by herself, but I mean, you're not going to use him as a healer anywhere else. So unfortunately, yeah, he's going to stay down here. Now, this one we went back and forth a few times, right? Nobu. Because if he had decent ability to res, he'd be anywhere out of this junk tier. But he has no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Yeah. And the characters that he summons are garbage too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He has 2 turns that are basically wasted, right? So he's going to have that special come out. That's going to drop 2 useless minions who are going to die instantly before they get a turn. Then he's going to do the worst ultimate probably in Marvel Strike Force, which is just puts counter on everyone. And then that's it. He's done. He's gone, right? Now, Evil in chat makes a good point. The only good thing about this guy is that he can induce the greatest thing in Marvel Strike Force, which is the multi-Greg meta.
It is mythical.
It does happen in DD2. I've seen it, but it's not easy to do. It takes so much RNG. But other than that, it's just gags. So I think he belongs down here. Our Blade Master, our Ass Hand. I can't believe that that's down there, considering that needed a legendary farm. Like, really, there's 2 characters in the junk tier that you need to get a legendary, mate.
Well, there's more than that. Think about the Ravagers.
Oh, yeah, true. Or not so much anymore, though, because the Guardians are all... You've got enough of them now, technically.
Yeah. Back in the day, I remember having to farm those guys to get Star-Lord.
True. All right, then we have... Now, this we debated a lot, right? Because it's incredible, really, to think about it. Like, some of these characters that when you put them in their synergy teams, they go from absolute junk tier trash garbage to gods of war, right? Whether it be AIM on offense, whether it be Hydra on defense. It's incredible that we've got characters at the bottom here that unfortunately are some of the greatest characters in the war. So we have... These 2 here, we don't think that they're great at all. Infector and Scientist for AIM. They might jump up a little bit into average when you put them in the right hand team. The right hand team. I'm looking at too many hands down here. In the right AIM team, right? And if they had decent reds, they can do some work too, right?
Yeah, they could.
Yeah. Now, the part for us that was probably the funniest, though, is the fact that the AIM team together is pretty wonderful. Like when you get Monstrosity and you get Assaulter and all those characters, you put them together, they can take down, Asgardians when you throw in Aimtron. They can take down a lot of teams when you've got Graviton. But by themselves, they're all the way down here. Like the entire... Oh, then you got the Hydra team on defense. The Hydra team all the way down here as well. We put +1s on them because we do believe that in Blitz for the Hydra squad, they can punch up a little bit in the lower tiers of Blitz, even at 8.3, but it's very RNG dependent as long as they don't hit your Red Skull. Do you use them much at 8.3 in Blitz, the Hydras?
I do. And they are, pretty reliable depending upon who you're matching up against. But again, it's somewhat situational, and if RNG doesn't go your way, it's not a guarantee. Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to get too many arguments on this junk tier, but look, if you are in the chat, make sure that you reach out. This is It's not quite a democracy, but we'll definitely consider if you think that we've got this wrong as we go. So let's move up now into our average tier. Now, this has a surprising amount of candidates. I was really surprised we went through this, how many people we actually put down here, some of which I think we're probably going to fight over again today.
Hey, I got my gloves on.
Yeah, so you actually had someone in the chat already has reinforced a point. So let's skip straight to it. So Pika believes that Night Nurse should be in junk. I believe that she should be in average. So let's have this debate right here. Why do you think she's junk, mate?
So little of her heal is tied to any sort of scaling. Red stars do so little for her. She doesn't bring much to any team in terms of her heal, and that's all that she can do.
Yeah.
There's never a situation where I would even consider using her in really any game mode except losing a Blitz match intentionally.
So look, here's the thing, is that if you look at her on paper and what she can actually put out, it's better than she thinks. Because remember, she's got a slow on her basic. She has a scalable heal on her special. She has a scalable heal as well as regens on her ult, right? And the best thing about her is, and we all forget this because we never use her, is that she does have an on-turn free heal. So as long as she isn't stunned, she does have the ability to get some heals off. Now, don't get me wrong, she's so close to falling into junk for me, but at the same time, it feels crazy to call her down there when you think about who's in that junk tier. All right, if you think about who it is put in that junk tier, she does seem better than those characters. So chat so far at the moment is pretty much 100% on your side. And this is one of the ones I said to you beforehand. She is not one of the hills that I'll die on. So what we'll do is, as we're talking about the next characters, the next 5 responses we see on Night Nurse, we'll factor that in whether we bump her down. All right? Strife. Yeah, almost trash. That's basically what this is. All right, so we're seeing junk. We're seeing a few things there. Yeah, all right. Now, let's talk about Strife. Again, this is another guy that we're like, man, is he in junk? And then the usability for him jumps up so much in war, even though he still needs a lot more. The question is, does he fall all the way down to that? Does he fall down to trash? We know he jumps up at least 2 tiers. But the question is he jumping up 2 tiers from trash? Or is he jumping up 2 tiers from average? What do you think?
I think it's 2 tiers from average. I mean, you have to consider him standalone, and so much of his kit is reliant upon Sinister and being in that Marauders team. Yeah.
The thing is, it's situational, right? If you can get to the point where you can actually throw out that ability block, like a 3-character minimum ability block is actually pretty massive, right? I think for him, to have like an AoE ability block and you're in the bottom tier seems crazy. The fact that he is so slow, though, he's not spawning with good abilities, his AI is quite trash. I don't know. But the question is, does he fall down to junk or is he here? That's the real question. What do we think? Do we think we've got it right on him on average? Or do we think that he is just that rubbish by himself because of that speed, because of the AI always auto-taunting early before he does anything good? What do you think? Does he stay here or does he move down? What do you think, Pika?
I think he stays here. If his resistance was a little bit better, I could see an argument to be made for, moving him up a little bit, but he doesn't have great resistance, for a protector. So
yeah, even with what he gives to that whole squad, like the fact that he adds 50% focus and resistance and they're still terrible, it's but the fact is he does have a couple things. If you can get to that point, he can get off that ability block. I think that probably is enough to earn him average. I think I'm happy enough to go with you and the chat, though, that we can absolutely move Night Nurse down into that trash tier. So that's 1 win for Pika on this one.
Yes, you've seen the light. Welcome.
Look, I mean, as I said, for me, I think I'm probably a lot biased because she carried me through the old days of Ultimus. To see her in the junk tier just, it hurts my heartstrings, man. It's not good. It's not good.
I don't think I leveled her past her 5th star.
Yeah. Oh, really? Man, I had like 7 yellows, tier 12 when that was the maximum. Back in the day when you could actually make a character farmable to the end, right? Without the RNG shenanigans. So, yeah.
The good old
All
days.
right, let's talk about Ant-Man. I think average is about where he belongs. I don't think he gets significantly better in any synergy team. An AoE slow is great. The fact that he can rip out an ability block, and the fact he can steal things. If his focus was better and he was a bit faster, he wouldn't be a terrible character.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, but the fact you can put him in certain teams and get the right results, I think that, yeah, he's one of those cases where he's a great kit, and as Spartan just said in the chat right now, great kit, but just terrible stats. And that's what happens with early characters and power creep, right? Like, it's not hard to fix Ant-Man, and I think that time may come, but for now, he's average at best.
Yeah.
All right, now Assault. Assault is one of those ones that we were like, man, good or average? And I think average is the right call, but she has to jump up to quite amazing when it's in that shield synergy team, because getting 20% crit across the board, really boosting that team, AoE stripping buffs, like she really is great in that shield team. But if you take that away, she's just a splash damage character.
That doesn't hit very hard.
That does not hit very hard. Yeah, and the focus, again, is pretty low by a Lonesome as well. So the chances of stripping those buffs is not amazing. So she really needs Fury to do what she needs to do. But unfortunately, yeah, she does stay down here in average, I think. All right. Now, then we had Operative and Trooper, and they pretty much had the same thing. But even though they do get better in those squads, I mean, Operative especially with the way that she can steal and do turn meter rewind, we almost debated having her as a +2 in the shield team, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that she is quite great in the way that she can hide a key character away. She's quite great that she can do that in a Fury team, but you know, her usability in the game has really fallen off quite a bit. She really depends on getting those crits. If she doesn't get it, her usability comes off. And those RNG mechanics, it's like, well, unfortunately, no. I think that, yeah, they're both just +1s. And Shield Trooper's just getting a bit of splash damage. And he does get better, but not that much better.
Yeah, he's so singular in what he brings to any team.
All right, let's talk about America Chavez. So it's amazing to see this character. She's just not good outside of a Brawlers team.
Definitely not.
No, but an absolute spine and a backbone of that team. Like, that defense down on a basic is pretty great. The fact that that triggers on an assist call is even better. Like, that makes Miss Marvel calling her in really great. But at the moment, otherwise, she's just an average character.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in that Brawlers team, she jumps significantly up. She does so much work in that team, and especially how well she scales with Red Stars. You know, she's got pretty good damage. And I also think that, you know, those Brawlers, they might be a team to watch going forward a little bit, especially if we do see, you know, a new Squirrel Girl rumor character to come that might slot in with those Brawlers as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, because the thing is, we know that in that team, she goes up quite a bit, and that's why we think she jumps up too. And I'll be interested to hear from the chat. Do you think that she jumps up 2 tiers, right, when she is in a Brawlers team? I really think she does. I think her usability and performance and what she does to that team is so much better in that squad that you'd be nuts not to use her in a Brawlers team.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, he jumps up. She jumps up. Now, Luke Cage. So this was a debate. Is he average and then goes up to +1 on the Defenders team? Or is he just a flat good? I think originally you wanted flat good. I wanted average +1.
Yeah.
All right. Make a case. Why do you think he's just flat good?
So compare him to the Protector in the average tier, you know, Strife. Cage at least can taunt with a defense up for multiple turns. So in my book, that's better than the existing Protector in that tier.
Yeah, he does have the regen. He does have the energy. I think the energy is probably the thing that saves him from the +1. Like, because otherwise, as a lot of people in chat are saying, maybe he doesn't even bounce up to good. Like, if he doesn't have the defense up, if he doesn't have the energy, realistically, he's going to fall out. So, yeah, I have a feeling, unfortunately, that that's a bit of a bummer. That he's down here for a character that, you know, had so much potential, but yeah, he's just too slow. He's just way too slow to be able to do what he needs to do. So,
well, and he gets to the taunt and the defense up way too late.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that's a pretty easy one to keep him where it is. Let's not fight over ones we agree on. Now, go to Karnak. Man, Karnak we almost put like just flat average, because he doesn't really give anything else to the rest of the Inhuman squad. He's a real selfish character in that sense, right? He basically just takes all the good things that the Inhumans give him, and then that's it. But he is kind of like a Diet Coke version of so many characters, right? Because he does a little bit of turn meter rewind and a cleanse, almost like a vulture. He does also completely remove all the buffs on someone, all a bit like a JJ. Other than that, that's about it. So do we think he deserves that +1, or does he stay flat? Because he doesn't really do anything.
He was like the designed by committee character. He does like a little bit of everything, but is not particularly good at any of it.
Yeah. It's like Taskmaster's the opposite version of that, right? Taskmaster has got a bit of everything and he's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right. So we'll probably keep him there, I'd say. Elektra, just a character that just never had love. I mean, she actually was one of the dominant characters early beta. She was so OP with the amount of damage she used to do. She just got nerfed to oblivion, and then she never really came back.
Yeah, and power creep has really hurt her, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, she's almost junk, but she does have decent sort of synergies against certain teams, so she can stay. Hand Archer was one that we debated a fair bit as well.
I like Hand Archer.
See, Hand Archer, if you can take a taunt off a Thanos, I don't think you deserve the junk tier, right? If you can strip an entire team of defense down, I don't think you belong in junk. Like, he's got such a niche usage on one ability, and it comes around on a relatively low cooldown. His damage doesn't suck on that basic. He's better than a junk, but not by much. If there was a border between junk and average, he'd be sitting on it. Probably pretty much with Elektra and Hand Sork, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Hand Sork, same deal. If she didn't have that defense up, she'd be gone.
Yep.
Yeah, and her speed. Like, her speed is pretty decent compared to a lot of other characters who are much slower that give D up to a team. And look, once upon a time, like, she was the greatest healer in the game. That was the insane thing about her.
Well, and the other thing, too, I mean, think about it from a new player perspective. Those two characters, you can plug them into a lot of other teams and do a lot of work with abilities that you don't have because you don't have some of the top tier characters unlocked. You can put defense up on your entire team, before you have Captain America. You can strip off, taunt or defense up from an entire team with Hand Archer. You can do a lot with those characters when you are in the early stages of the game.
I remember in early raids, like, we would randomly put in a Hand Assassin, like on nodes where there was heavy, like, defense ups, like one after the other. And you just bring that in to try and act like, I know it's fallen down a lot, but it's enough to keep him out of there. Yeah, so I think it's good. Now, Reaper is one that this +1 we debated. We think average is the right place, but she does two things. One, if she gets a kill, she's going to give energy, which is pretty great. But she also does a reasonable amount of damage, especially when you get to 4 or 5 red stars. The question is, does she get a tier better in a full Kree squad?
I think so.
I think as a Noble by herself, and Nobles are very much a point of contention between us guys. When we get to Noble, expect some back and forth on that one. I think the chat's going to have to help us a lot. But I think in the Kree squad, the +1's deserved, yeah. And Cyborg kind of sits in the same place. Cyborg, when you put him in a... what do you call it? Cyborg, if you put him in a Ultimus team, especially once we get Ultimus to 5 reds, that's going to be a little bit of a different story, right? So I think he might even be the potential for +2, but I think +1's fine for him as well. Kree Royal Guard, I still think is so close to one of the greatest characters in the game as far as taunts go. It's this close.
You love yourself some Kree Royal Guard.
I do, because if he had a better resistance, like if this whole ISO 8 thing had a way that I could just add like a billion, what do you call it? Like a billion resistance so you couldn't strip that taunt, he would be probably the best tank in the game, almost, because of that energy feed every time he gets hit. Like 75% of the time, he's going to be raining out energy every time he gets tapped by someone. In raids, that would be spectacular. He's so close to being a great character. But so close in this game is multiple tiers down. So we think that he's definitely one. Because he's so fast, he does give defense up early. He gets the Kree to do what they need to do. So he's definitely average +1, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you could channel his energy feed, if you could, like, if it was adjacent, if you could determine where it went, I'd move him up a tier.
Oh, absolutely. Now, this is one that we're definitely still going to battle over, because we found it really hard to place Venom, because we know in the Spider-Verse team, when he has Carnage, when he has Symbiote Spider-Man, he's amazing. Amazingly good. But let's think back only a couple of months ago when there was no Symbiote Spider-Man. Who was using Venom? And the answer is no one. Because Venom by himself, unfortunately, he's just so slow. He has an amazing kit, but he's so slow. This one we went through the week of, should he be like an average +1, an average +2, or a good +1? And the more I look at this, the more I think he should be like a good +1.
He just suffers from that horrible combination of slow AF and long cooldowns. You know, and those two together really hold him back.
I know. I mean, the thing is, his basic is so underrated too, man, because that basic, what a lot of people forget is, like, if a character has evade, this cheeky bugger goes in, hits them, misses them, and still flips the evade into damage, right? It's such a cheeky maneuver. There's not too many that does it. And he's got an ability block. He can spread things. He's self-healing. He gets a defense up now. He's so friggin' good in that team. But by himself, it's like, man, I don't know. I think it is either average +2 or good +1. The question is, which way does it go? What do you think?
I could see an average +2. I would be fine with that.
Where are you sitting there at? Is this like it's a 50-50, 60-40, 70-30? How far over that lean are you?
I think I've been near convinced. I would say I feel that an average +2 is where he belongs.
Well, let's say if you're comparing it between an average +2 or a good +1, where do you sit? Is this like, is oceans of difference? Do you think average +2? How sold are you?
I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm ready to commit.
The more I look at it, I feel good +1. I think we're going to have and the chat looks pretty torn too. Like, we're seeing a lot of +2s down there. We're seeing a lot of good +1. It's almost 50-50 in the chat. And I think that kind of expresses how close to this line he is, right?
Okay, well, in thinking about it, because you can use him in a Brotherhood 1.0 team, you get a lot out of him there. So that's some usability outside of just his synergy team. I can step into the good +1.
Yeah, I think if you look at every ability on paper, and this is probably what we didn't do enough with him the other day, each one of those abilities is a game changer. Like, the fact that you get a flip on a basic and damage and a bleed is pretty amazing. The fact that you can do, on his special, you've got an ability block, then you've got the spread down further, there's heal blocks tied in, he's got a self-heal, he's got defense up now. I think we probably sold him a bit low. So I think good +1 is probably where I'd prefer to see him, but yeah.
I've been converted.
Chat seems to be heading that way too. So I think let's change him. I hope you're writing this down, by the way.
I thought you were writing it down.
I am not. So at the moment,
Chat's writing it down.
Chat's writing it down. Yeah. So all right. So So at the moment, Pikers, we're going to be sending down Night Nurse into the junk tier. We're going to be sending sending up Venom into the good tier +1.
Yeah, I got him.
All right, awesomeness. Mysterio. Now, this is another one we went back and forth on the other day. We said there's definitely no +1s because he doesn't get better, nor does he make that team better in the Sinister Six. The question is he actually trash?
I loved Mysterio whenever he came out. I remember looking at his kit and doing the character graphic for it, and I'm like, oh, this guy clears 2 positive effects on basic. He's got his focus scales like Jessica Jones does. Like, whenever he dies, he's gonna drop 2 of these minions. Like, this is so good. And then I actually used him, and I became very, very sad.
And that's the thing, man. It's like Mysterio has that blind, which I think that's the thing that saves him, is that he does have a relatively quick out of the gate blind, especially in that Sinister Six squad. So it's kind of like, well, is it because I don't think he gets better. I think he's either a flat average or a flat junk. Like, I don't think he is improved by the Sinister Six.
I agree.
Yeah. So the question is, do we like him in average because he does have a couple of redeeming qualities, or is he a junk character?
I like him in average.
I think so. Again, that blind, like, I mean, if you don't have that blind, especially when you go up against the, what do you call it? defenders, right? That team doesn't win without
Yeah.
that, right? So I know that's talking about a synergy, but at the same time, I think that kind of holds true. People are saying average, but -1 on that team. Sad but true. All right, now Shocker. Shocker was one that it kind of felt like we got this low, right? Because he isn't great by himself. He's okay on that team, but it's more so he feeds in the offense up to that team, right?
Yeah, that team needs him to function.
Yeah. But him by himself, though, is he bad enough that he falls this far down? Because what's he bringing really? He's got an AoE, his basic's not great, and then he's got that offense up. So I think probably average is where he belongs, but he definitely is better on that team. So I think +1 is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. M'Baku. This was very tempting to say junk +2. This was another one we were battling about too. It's like, is he average or just by himself is he absolutely terrible? And I can kind of sit either way on this one still. But I think in the Wakandan team, when he has that synergy with everyone else, he's definitely in the good character, the good tier within the Wakandan squad. The thing is though, he's just not usable anywhere else, right?
Well, and, a lot of his passive is also raid specific. So when evaluating him, globally, when you have a part of your passive locked into a single game mode, that always kind of holds, that character back, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, though. Of like those first 3 or 4 moves in the right team, he's almost unkillable. Like, I remember you being able to use to soak up. I used to use him to take out, when I was still using Wakandans together on offense, I used to use them to take out Captain Marvel squads easy, especially in the brawler days. Because she just go, "Woo," and you go, really? And just do the little chink of the armor, and then you're fine. You move on, right? So, but he is that terrible, and he's slow as well. I kind of want to bump him down to junk. But first of all, before we move on, do you think he stays in average?
The question for me becomes, is he a worse tank than Strife?
Oh, God. It depends whether you're talking about in that squad. In squad, M'Baku's better.
In squad, he's not. Yeah, definitely.
But out of squad, he doesn't have any redeeming qualities. Strife at least has, like, if someone doesn't kill him, you've got, like, a 3 ability block, right? Like, you can hit something like that, and that is something. But outside of that squad, he's got no defensive characteristics whatsoever. He's all about that damage, and it's not that great. So, yeah, I'm probably going to say, I think maybe junk. But the question is he +1 or +2? I think he's junk +2.
I don't know. He does have pretty crazy health.
Yeah, but people are just going to leave him to the end. Like, he's not a threat at all. Because his AI is also incredibly stupid because he uses the ultimate on the first turn. Like, he goes out and does the DPS run. So you can just go, have fun, mate. You're not going to do any damage. I'll leave you to the end when I want to punch a meat shield to death.
Fair points. I'm torn.
But I think in Wakandans, if you are using that Wakandan team, and I know a lot of people are going, oh, but who uses Wakandans anymore? There will be some people that still could. But I think he's junk outside of the squad, but I think he is good tier. So I think it's +2. The argument really, I think, is he junk +1 or junk +2?
Brutal on your man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I loved him back in the day. So I'm going to say junk tier, but I'm going to let you decide +1 or +2.
I think he's a +2.
Yeah. Yeah. I know people in chat are saying no one uses Wakanda anymore, but you still have to consider, is there a synergy in game where a character can elevate to a particular level? And the reality is, yes, he can, right? So, yeah, I think he does become probably junk +2.
Everybody's going to be using him in about 6 hours for some Chaos Theory.
Yeah, true. All right, Namor. What do we think?
Outside of war, I would almost be tempted to put him in junk.
We talked about this a lot the other day. What does chat think about Namor? We went really back and forth quite a bit because his damage is not terrible. Like, I've got him at 5 red stars, from, I can't remember what event it was. It was like a milestone a while back. And just that opening AoE, even though it doesn't strip all the buffs and it doesn't take the turn meter away, he's just great. Like, he does a lot of damage, but after that, he does nothing. So I think he's better just because of the damage scaling that he has. I think he's just flat average. But you have to say that he becomes a god of war. And that's why he's got that red little symbol there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think we've done that one wrong. Now, Miles Morales is so close to junk tier for me that I still don't know if he stays here. What do you mean about Miles Morales? He's got the disrupts. He's got the hard to kill. He's got the defense down, but only on his turn. What do you think?
The disrupt is what holds him in average for me. If you didn't have that, he would be junk all the way.
And the thing is, he does make the Spider-Verse or the symbiote team a little bit better, but not enough that I think he deserves the synergy +1 ever. I think he's just a flat average.
Yeah, I agree.
Winter Soldier, what a shame. Such a cool looking and cool functioning character. It feels bad putting him down here, but he's literally the one punch man, but not in the good way.
I think Scopely forgot that he was in the game. Like, he got no love during that Hydra rework, and he needed it. Boy, did he need it.
But the question is, like, is he average or is he junk? Because his kit's not great, but he does scale with reds. Oh, we should have mentioned as well at the top of the tier stream. I know it's on the kit list. It's on the tier list. That when we made this list, what we've done here is to try and avoid, like, assuming everyone has 7 red stars, because people don't. We're basically assuming that every character, when we weigh them out, is at 7 yellow stars, 4 red stars, T14, and what's the last thing I'm missing? Level 75.
Yeah, max T4.
Yeah, so I mean, him at 4 red stars, the question is that speed at that amount of red stars enough that he stays trash? Or is it the fact that he can heal block, he gets a big bleed, enough? I mean, he definitely has one of the worst passives in the game, especially the T4.
Absolutely.
My argument is that his damage is the only thing that keeps him in average, because he hits way harder than a lot of the DPSs we drop down, but he doesn't necessarily have as much of the kit.
In my opinion, he's one of the early high damage dealers you can get your hands on in the early game. And he can carry you through a little bit of content that, you know, you would struggle to do damage on otherwise. So for me, I think that holds him in average.
Yeah. What does chat think? So chat is pretty much almost, I'd say, 80 to 90% saying he belongs in junk, mainly because his stats don't hold up. That, yeah, he's basically like a one-move junk. So he's kind of like Iron Fist without the rest of the kit.
Yeah.
See, he's on that border. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's very much... I can make the case either way. I think I can be swayed by chat here to go down to junk. I really do think we could, because once that ult's out of the way, I mean, his special is pretty good. His special is pretty good, but still...
Yeah, low cooldown.
Yeah, I think I'm probably getting a little bit torn, man, because this is one we did sort of say, oh, is he though?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the next couple of things we see about in the chat, what you guys think, I think we'll probably call it that way. Lucky says average. What do we got for the next few?
Do you think him in a war defense team, that little bit of extra usability there keeps him out of the junk tier?
Not
because
really.
of the military?
Well, not enough, though. I mean, if you had him in, like, with Captain Marvel, maybe, but no one's going to do that, right? It's just not good. So, yeah, I think he probably jumps straight into junk, man. There's been almost unanimously in chat as well. So I think I can definitely see the case they're making. Right, you look at who else is in this tier as well. Yeah, it's almost like you need in between. He feels better than so much of the junk characters too. But
I know. Chat has spoken.
They have spoken, and look, they outvoted us on this one. But again, this is not a hill to die on one. Like, no one's gonna argue is it average or junk all night. All right, let's move on. Crossbones. God, it feels bad to see him down this far from his days of glory. How
far he has fallen.
He has, but he hasn't scaled well with damage. That's his main issue. Now, if you're going to murder yourself, you have to make a big bada boom. The fact that he taunts out of the gate has always been a bad thing for him, but there's no way that he is trash. Like, you get an offense up on this guy in the right team versus a defense down, he can still do his job. So I think he stays.
Yep.
Bullseye. Bullseye was always a reasonably scaled damage character. I think he stays in average. Now, did we have a +1 on him?
Yeah.
He has a +1? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Even when you're using him in Blitz, I do believe that he gets a +1 for every other game mode. Like, even in some of the Greek raids, I've used that team, and he's still fine in their mercenaries team. So I think that, yeah, and then he's obviously got the War God tag as well, because honestly, yeah, in that mercenaries team, when he's throwing in assists as well, it's pretty great, man.
He does work.
Yeah, we do have to take one quick pause because we do have a celebrity guest in the crowd, my friend. Mobile Gamer, Trevor, has just thrown us a tier 1 sub, man. So we got to shout that out. We love his work. He's a good people, man.
Yes, he is.
All right, back to our job. I don't think anyone's going to fight us on that one, right?
No.
All right, let's have a look. So let's talk about aim monstrosity. What do we think here? We said +2 the other day. I still think that's the case.
Yeah, looking at him in isolation, just as a standalone, he just almost ruins himself outside of that aim team.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty crazy, man. But I do think that that's the way to go. I do think that he's just terrible by himself, but I think he does become incredible because he's getting the offense up. It's stripping off the defense down away from himself as well because you can get taken care of by Scientist Supreme there. So I think he has enough damage by himself. As someone who owns a 5 red star on this guy, I can tell you that outside of aim, he's still okay, right? He's not bringing anything special to the party, but his stats aren't terrible, especially with that offense up turn out of the gate. So
yeah, he's definitely not a junk character.
Yeah, and he's got defense down as well. Like the fact he throws a defense down out there later on, he's definitely not trash. Assaulter, again, a really good character because of that speed up mechanic. The damage is really low, but when you put him in that aim team, I think he jumps up a lot. So I think the +2, I think probably still stays there as well because he really makes that aim team hum. He gets incredibly better in that team. He makes them much better in that team.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, shield security for me is in this for one reason alone. He goes up +2 for one reason alone. If he does get a debuff and you hit him, he just transfers it to the other team. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like a flexible Groot. I actually really like it. So I think all 3 of those aim essential characters, I think they definitely are +2 because by themselves, but in that squad, they just ramp up by multiple stages.
Oh, you look at what they're capable of in war, what they can do together. You know, it's an easy +2 for me.
Absolutely. Rescue. We almost put her in junk. Still not 100% convinced it shouldn't be.
See, I think she's got a little bit more usability than that.
You think so? Tell me more.
I do. So you can say in raid, you need to, take the, an initial burst into a node, do a little bit of work. You can still offense up some, damage dealers. You can do a little something with her. Throwing that barrier
doesn't the
out,
offense up only apply in war though?
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's the whole reason I still think she should be in junk. Because her barriers, they're not bad, but they're certainly not great. But the problem is the offense up, it's only specific to... Oh, sorry. Maybe it's only specific to power armor. I'm pretty sure that middle turn is only like... it's a cleanse if it's not in the right squad. So, yeah, junk +2 seems more fair because you're not going to use her anywhere else in that, other than in that team. Oh, immunity's war only. Sorry, I was wrong.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to use her outside of that team.
Yeah. So the question is she average +1 or junk +2? I'm voting junk +2 on this one.
What does chat think?
What does chat think? We saw a lot of junk +2s. I've seen very few average +1s. What do we got? Harold says 1. +2, terrible junk. I've seen a few junk -2s. Yeah, it's almost unanimous. There's only a handful of people. Sorry, Harold. I think the chat's probably leaning that way. So, yeah, what do you think, Pika? I think this is probably junk +2.
Yeah, junk +2.
Awesome. All right. Well, not awesome for her, but yeah. Heimdall. This is one we don't know if we've got him too low.
Ugh, Heimdall, the disappointment.
He's so good in war, but he loses so much of his kit outside of it. And then...
He really does.
But it's that blind resistance that he gives to that Asgardian teams. It's like, man, should he go up? But it's like, I don't know. My instinct still says we've got it right, but we checked it a couple of times, and so much of that kit is in war. It's like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, like what else does he do that's any good outside of that blind resistance?
Yeah, I think that stays there. I don't think we're gonna get much of an argument there. But he's very challenging because in that team on war defense, goddamn, they survived that first couple of turns because of him. And you can only use a certain amount of teams. Like you could take that team down with Brotherhood if it wasn't for Heimdall. Like you could, OG Brotherhood. But because of him, yeah, I think he stays.
Yeah.
All right, now Domino was a hard one. One, because she's so new to the game, but two, because her kit's not bad if she's in that team. But when she is not with the rest of that team, when she doesn't have Deadpool to make Deadpool amazing, she's actually quite terrible on paper. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what does chat think about Domino? Domino is one that we felt like we had to be quite harsh with her because while she's amazing in war, she definitely jumps up at least 2 tiers here. But by herself, like if she can't give all of the debuffs over to Deadpool, then that's useless. And all the extra kit that she gives to that team, it just doesn't work anywhere else. I think she's actually very bad.
Yeah, and her base stats aren't impressive. It's not like she's saved by, great health or fantastic damage that you can't live without. She's pretty average when you get into it.
Absolutely. Now, the next two break my heart every time I look back on this list, man. Because we all know that Wolverine is my favorite character in the MCU. I have a fond place in my heart for Sabretooth as well. But goddamn, it feels bad having them this far down the list. The thing is, though, I think Sabretooth is a better character than Wolverine, but not enough to bump him a higher tier.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. Yep.
So the thing is, though, we were debating, we think we have him right for average. The question is, we were debating the +1, +2 in their synergy teams. So let's talk about Sabretooth first. He does get much, much, much better in a Marauder squad, specifically on war defense. The problem is, I think he's insanely Red Star dependent.
You took the words right out of my mouth. He does get better in that team, but at 6 or 7 red stars. Below that, he really doesn't make much of a difference.
And that's the problem, because who's going to spend their silver currency and their gold currency on Sabretooth? I mean, if you're really committed to bringing up your favorite character in the game, amazing, right? But you're a better man than me. Like, I would love to have the guts to take Wolverine up to 7 to basically say, well, here's my favorite. But I'm not going to because I want to win, right? So I think, unfortunately, because we made this tier list in a way that we think this is based on what is achievable by most players, which is, 3 to 4 reds, 75, tier 14. I think, unfortunately, he's only +1 even in that Marauder squad because it's only the assist that he really gets plus a little bit more damage.
Yeah, and I think if we see who the Marauders get as a 5th, that could change his spot, in the future. So I definitely think he's one to keep an eye on. But for right now, on an incomplete team that is so war specific, average +1 feels right for me. I
think so. And look, and that's probably something we should mention as well. We didn't say at the top of the stream is that we do have the plan to do this in the first week of every month. So just to sort of wrap up what changed in the last month. And we don't just want to add new characters in. We want to talk about, with every meta, sometimes characters don't change, but they become so much more usable because there's like a synergy that you don't know about, right? So, we're definitely going to revisit this again next month. And look, if there is an Emma Frost and that means another person that he can assist, that changes things, 100%.
Yep.
All right, Wolverine. This was the one we were probably more torn on. Does he go up to a +2 in the X-Men squad? And the reason I think we left it at +1 is that he only really has one thing that he benefits from, and that's because of Colossus. And he gets a little bit more of an assist when you have the Cyclops connection as well. But it's really about that ult with Colossus. Without that, he's really nothing. The question is he +1 in X-Men or +2?
Feels like a +1 to me. I'm good on that.
Yeah. I think so. I don't think there's a point fighting that battle. I think that's about where it needs to be.
I can't label him as a demigod character.
No, that's a good point.
Even in that team.
Lower
That's
demi,
yeah. Yeah.
That's a good point, actually. I think we better leave that there. All right, let's move on to the next section, and that is the good. Someone was just asking in chat, why do we have Venom at +1? You guys have already talked us around. We've already changed it. It's all good. Calm down. It's okay. All right. I have to move my face again. Oh, my God. I keep getting in everyone's way. What's that about? Let's move this up here. Is it wrong that I just covered our branding with my face?
We almost made the branding your face.
Oh, we should never make my face the branding. We will sell nothing. That's why we don't have merch, because of this. All right. So let's talk about SIF, and that's not short for an STD. So in good, this one we debated whether she was average as well, because she gets so much of her block from the Asgardians, because she needs them to get her thingos up. But she does get 2 stacks of deflect every time she uses her basic. But the real debate that we had, and we probably really weren't convinced, to be honest, was she good +2 or average +2?
I'm definitely more in the good +2 than the average. I think she's better than the protectors that we have in the average tier, even standalone, even outside of that Asgardian team. Her block chance, you know, I think gives her just a slight edge on those other protectors.
Yeah, the thing is, I do like her by herself, right? I mean, she's not the greatest, but if you can get her, like, let's say you were a newer player that pulled her on a premium orb, I think there's enough in that kit to, like, really carry you through to parts of the endgame. And look, to be honest, in the right synergy team as well, like, and it doesn't have to be completely Asgardians either. We saw a lot of people before Black Order was released clearing out DD3 Cosmic comfortably because Sif was in that team. But it's like, how much of that was the synergy? I mean, the fact that she does have enough stats to scale that way, I think she's probably good enough to stay where she is.
Yeah.
But it's
Give me 2 seconds. I got to step away for a quick sec.
No problems. I can keep talking with chat anyway. What do you guys think, chat? I think she's probably okay as it is, but she's very close to dropping down to average by herself. But Tiger has a good point there, that the T14, she doesn't scale as well as a lot of the other protectors do, because she doesn't have that additional damage or that additional utility. She's very much about keeping it to herself. The fact that she does have those deflects up early, she can keep the rest of the team around her. She does hang on to her taunt pretty well. So I'm pretty torn about that. All right, we'll wait till Pika comes back to make the final decision, but I think that she stays where she is with the +2. Now let's talk about Elsa. This is one that Pika and I went back and forth on. I'll tell you about the battle. So I wanted her to be average. He wanted her to be good. The reason that it stayed here on the good was because of her damage stats. She has an incredible amount of damage, while she has very little in the way of utility. She does have a heck of a lot of damage. So that's why Pika argued pretty strongly, to the point that he talked me up on this one, that she does have that. And in a supernatural team, she definitely jumps up a tier into that lower. So I think that that's probably okay. What do you guys think about Elsa? So good damage, second shot on dodges. She does have long cooldowns, Underdog. And that's why one of the things I argued about as well is that once those are gone, but she does have multi-hit on her basic, so her damage doesn't really fall away the same way that others do. So this was one that I was kind of on the fence, but Pika, I think, was pretty close to this. Elsa's the unit you could remove from her own team. Yeah, possibly, Revan. All right.
I'm back.
All right, so we're just talking about Elsa. You're the one that convinced me to bring her up to good. I wanted her to be average, and the chat seems to be in agreement with you, my friend.
Yeah, her damage is so good. I definitely think she's a tier above the average crew.
Storm. This one was a weird one. Yeah. This one's a weird one, because the thing is, by herself, you know, she almost qualified for that raid god. Like we came so close to putting that raid icon on her. In fact, we still might. We'll see what the chat thinks now, because if you charge Storm up, she's incredible. She's definitely a +2 because in the X-Men squad, calling in assist alone, if Storm attacks and you get Phoenix get a bonus hit, she got so much extra damage and clear and Thingo out in that round, it's not funny. The question is, I don't think she moves anywhere. I don't think she's getting anything else. But the question is, does she deserve the raid bonus icon in June 2020? If you asked me before the slider, Pika, I would say yes. As of now, though, I don't know.
I don't think so because of what it takes to build up that charge. If she got charge on assists, I would say yes, because you could get to that charge at an effectable pace to make her a god raid tier character. Yeah. It just takes too long to build up her charge that I think she stays, you know, as a non-god raid character. Yeah. Still very good. Yeah. But not god.
Yeah, I think Ultima 7-2 Difficult, it was kind of the murder of the prepare the storm and ruin everything else. Because she was definitely like the ace in the hole when you want to get through that Ronin node. But these days, unfortunately, no. It just takes way too long to charge up.
Yeah.
Now, Cap, this is one we fought on. I fought for good, flat. You fought for average, flat. Correct?
I did.
All right, show your work. Why do you think so?
You actually convinced me on that one because he has the clearing, you know, clear positive effects, because he has the defense up, because of that taunt. I'm comfortable with him being in good now. I definitely see him as better than Strife, as, you know, better than Luke Cage. So I'm comfortable with good.
Yeah, I mean, defense up for everyone, energy feed, and then cleanse. I mean, yeah, and the block chance as well is not to be like underestimated. Like the fact we don't use him as much, when he used to did block in raids, if you were using him now, I think he'd still get a lot of people through a lot of content. So yeah, I think he's fine. I think he's fine. Now this is another one. We probably fought harder about this next one than a lot. I fought for Hawkeye good. You said average or possible. Did you even say junk at one stage?
I remember I was considering it, yeah.
I remember getting angry at you. Or that's all I remember. I remember getting very angry with you about Hawkeye, going, what are you talking about? He's definitely a good character. Let's talk about this, because the thing is, and this is the problem though, is that we factored in for this T14, 4 red stars, and all that. What a lot of people don't realize, Pika, because we looked at the maths, he scales really well. And the biggest problem that Hawkeye has is focus. Because at the moment, he's not getting the blinds off the way he should, and he's not cleansing the way he should, and he's not knocking off the stealth the way he should. Because everyone's got him at like tier 9, level 65. No one's taken him up to like max, right? But the thing is, T14 fixes his problem. And this is, I think, where I convince you to listen to me to bump him up to good. Although it seems like I think chat's probably going to agree with you somehow. So I might have to take this one. A T13 Hawkeye is average borderline junk.
A tier 14 Hawkeye is good. The jump and focus there is just stupid. Now, the trouble is that his damage, he hits like a wet noodle. But he's decently fast. You know, he's 116 speed, so he's not a slow character. Yeah. He just doesn't hit for much and requires that Gear 14 jump and focus to do most of what his kit is built to do.
Yeah. And look, and to be fair, now that I've kind of argued for that Sabretooth, basically saying, well, if you can't get in with 6-7 red stars, T14, like what's the point, right? So yeah, I could probably live with backing him back down into average. I think you and the chat are probably getting me there on him.
Ching.
Fine. You were very happy about writing that one down, weren't you?
Oh, I'm smiling like a butcher's dog right now.
Well, it's just more work for you to do on the tier list now, so suck it. All right, so let's talk about shield security. I think this is one where we were quite tempted to leave him below and then pull it up +2 as well. But at the same time, I do think that security is still very good in almost everything but the current endgame content. I mean, at one stage, he was almost an essential character for DD2, And if you still took him into DD2 now, he'd do fine.
Mm-hmm.
And in that shield squad, he definitely, I think, shoots up to low demigod because his damage scales pretty well. Sure, not as much by, power creep standards right now, but he's still going to do very well. The fact he does the slow, the stun on a relatively cheap minion and scales pretty well. I think no one's really going to argue too much about that one.
Yeah. The fact that he gains taunt anytime an ally drops below 50% health is just such a good mechanic for him and for that team.
Yeah. Mr. Fantastic. So he's got a decent kit, way too squishy and a little bit on the slow side.
Yeah.
I think he'd be one tier up if he had a better stat set. 100%. Do we think good is where he stays?
I think so. If his special didn't have quite such a long cooldown, I would be okay with, bumping him up, but it just takes too long.
I know what you mean. Yeah, and he's definitely +1. Like 100% +1. Because, it's insanely good how all the assists come in. Like, he makes Torch, he makes Invisible Woman, he even makes Namor. Like, that entire squad better because he's in that team. So, yeah, I think good +1's pretty fair for him. Negasonic was a tough one because she has a hell of a utility kit, but very similar to... See, Flip, we talked about the raid tag for Mr. Fantastic. And the reason we said not so much is that he's good no matter where you place him. Like, he's the same amount of benefits he gives in every game mode is in every game mode. So we think that's probably where it is, yeah. But Negasonic, though. Negasonic, her damage is great. But she loses a lot of her kit, including the 50% damage, as soon as she's out of war. She's definitely top tier war character. The question is she better than good down here? What do we think?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I really don't. And I think we need more time. I have a feeling she's going to be one of those characters. We're going to come back in next month, and I'm almost confident this young lass is going to move a tier. But I need more information, right? Because she is pretty good. She's got a lot of power creep in her stats, but so much of that kit is hidden away in the war stuff. It's like, man, I don't know.
And she's also one of those late blooming characters that you really need to have her leveled up to feel, the damage that she puts out. She's not a character that, under leveled, you're going to be like, oh, this feels like a low demigod character.
And here's the thing. So there's some people arguing in chat that because she can do really well by herself in things like DD1, that she deserves to be higher. But here's my argument. Most of the footage that we've seen of the people doing those things, or most of the screenshots, they've been like 6-7 red stars T14. All right? I would say most of the newer characters that we have could pull off some feats in the same ballpark because they're so power creeped that it's crazy. So I think at the moment she's probably good. We're not really seeing enough evidence at the moment to take her up. I think if you have her at 4 red stars, T14, 75, she's a good character, but I don't see her being out of that at the moment. In a synergy team, yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that.
Zen Harold, we talk about him at max level. We don't talk about it at max red stars. We talk about it something feasible for everyone, so because they're not a farmable thing. Everything else you can farm. All right. Red Skull. Red Skull has a good kit. It's an amazing kit in war. Yes, there's more counters to it now, but it's still very, very good. And the real question was, does he still get the +1 outside of war? Right? Because he's definitely a raid god. He's definitely got that. But in Blitz or in raid, I think we sort of settled it because of Blitz. If he doesn't die, that's a win at 8.3. Right, there is an RNG mechanic, but he will win with a Hydra squad in 8.3. That's why we were thinking about a +1 for him in good. Yep. So yeah, I think that's fine. So I think good's probably where he stays. Drax. Part of me still thinks he's too high. He's a one-trick pony, but he does have multi-taunt. He's got decent armor, but he suffers a little bit because of the stat game now. And if you do take away his taunt, he's nothing.
If he didn't spawn with taunt, I would say he would be an average to trash protector. But because he spawns with it, I think that gives him a little extra something that puts him into that good tier.
Yeah, we'll watch chat comments as we move on, but yeah, I have to admit, like, it's pretty easy to counter him. His stats haven't aged well. He's still frustrating. I mean, there are some things that you can use Drax for that you definitely get you a win. Like, if you know that there's going to be like a Loki on a node, you can throw a Drax in, and then you can sort of use Minerva to bring him straight back and re-taunt again with a couple of death proofs. Like, there are things you can kind of do. But the question is, yeah, is he average or good? Part of me still thinks because he hasn't aged well, he might belong a little bit lower.
I think because you can plug him into any team and get that, turn one instant value out of him that, you can't with a lot of other protectors where they need a turn to, get their taunt off. That against faster enemies, that puts him up a tier for me.
Yes, I think the only thing that saves him, I think probably the way you write here, the only thing that saves him is that secondary taunt. Because if he didn't re-taunt, because I think everyone kind of knows he's going to lose that first taunt. Someone's going to strip it. The downside for him is that there's so many stripping characters now in 2020. It's like he's not going to keep that second one either, but he is more likely to. He does scale pretty well. We looked at his resistance the other day. It's not as good as it could be. But I think putting him lower with some of the tanks that were down there, I don't think feels right. So I think he's better than those tanks. I think that's ultimately what made us decide. It's like, is he better than Strife? Hell yes, he is.
He is, right.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about War Machine. So War Machine has great base damage. Obviously, his AoE is insanely good. But by himself, not awesome. However, in that Power Armor squad, in or out of war, amazing.
Yes.
Yep.
He lays it down.
Now, Iron Man scales up as well, but not as much as him in the Power Armor team. So War Machine definitely gets a little bit more bang for buck out of that squad than Iron Man. That's why we gave him a +1 instead of a +2. Yeah, I think both of those are probably in the right space. They're not necessarily better than each other because like War Machine's second special is pretty good, but not fantastic. Iron Man has a better special, but then it comes down to AoE versus single target. So I think they're both around the same. In that sense, there's a few people saying that Iron Man should drop down a slot, but I don't think that's true. His ultimate by itself keeps him up here, I think.
Yeah, he scales pretty well. I mean, he's not top tier, but his damage, still scales well enough for him to be a good character and not an average character.
Yeah, and look, I still hope he gets a rework. I really do, man. I really do.
Yeah, well, and I mean, his special's unavoidable, so that's a little something extra.
True. Now, Mystique. This is what we talked about. I think she's in the right place. You think she should be good flat. I say good +1. What do you think today? Where's your head at?
I think we got this one right.
See, she does get pretty good with Sinister. Sinister, she does get very good. Yeah, I think +1's enough, though. I don't think +2 is worth it for that. And she does scale very well. I mean, there was one guy, we had 2 wars in a month that he had a 7 red star, like T13 Mystique. And we're like, lol, why would you do that? That's hilarious. And then, we got ruined. Like, it just turned the fight because, you know how in that Marauders team, like, they can quite, like, almost chip you away, but then you just run away with it? Well, no, she was the last man standing, and God, that wrecked us. And having seen that a couple of times, and like if you get into a 1v1, especially if you have a buffer or a self-healer, you're going to lose that. So I think, good +1 is probably good.
Yeah.
Marino, yes, we are absolutely going to be recording this, and it'll go out into YouTube as a separate video. All right, Waspinator. She has a stun, she has AoE, she knocks people out of stealth, her damage doesn't suck, she doesn't go up with the synergy. I think good for theirs, pretty all right. Yeah. I don't think she's average. I think she's a good character.
Power creep has definitely affected her more recently. But she's a tier above Ant-Man.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. And the dodge as well, like having a little bit extra dodge. Yeah, I think she belongs up here for now just because of that utility she has with the stun. I think she's probably all right there. Now, this one you and I had a battle about. You had him Was it average?
I did. I had him in average.
And flat too.
Yeah.
Crazy. Now, do you want to fight that battle again?
He is so squish. And, you know, a defense up totally negates him. I don't know. In that team, I definitely think he's, you know, good or, you know, I guess the low demi. But outside of it, I don't know that especially with power creep, that he keeps up in a good tier of character.
I do. I mean, I think he scales crazy well. I think that counter that he spills out to that team, I think he definitely deserves the +1. But that ultimate, when he scales up and you get the T4s and he has Punisher on board, I think that he still hits enough like a boss that he deserves to be here, yeah. This latest version of the graphic, there's no Punisher here either. Did you move him again? Or is he just MIA?
He might be MIA.
Oh, what have you done? I think Punisher should be here in a +1 as well.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yep. Yeah, I was about to say, I swear to God, we fought over him as well.
We did.
What do you guys think? Average +1. So Lucky's agreeing with you. What do you guys think about Punisher and Daredevil? I still maintain both of those deserve good +1 because good for their base stats, good for their kits, and the +1 because they do scale. Oh, you're getting some support here, mate. Also, thank you to Blameful Gecko and Snorlax Puncher for those subs. Very much appreciated, guys. Ooh, so yeah, a lot of people are actually saying that they think the Daredevil average, but Punisher good.
Yeah,
Punisher
you got a lot
better
of
than
smart people
Daredevil?
in chat.
Oh my God, do we?
So much wisdom.
I don't know.
People.
They seem argumentative to me. Let's think about this. All right, man, have I got this wrong? I don't know. See, the thing is, in that team, he is the one that hits harder at the start, and Punisher is so much more squishier. Like, if your argument is that Daredevil is too squishy, good God, have you seen Punisher?
Oh, we're not comparing. I mean, I'll give you that Punisher is squishy. I'm just saying Daredevil on his own, also, like, king of the squish.
I didn't want to admit this to you. I did look at this after we got off our debate yesterday, just to try and work out today how I was going to prove that you were right. And I was hoping this wasn't going to happen, that the chat was going to be on your side. Because I forgot that Daredevil's dodge is completely based on him being in a squad of defenders.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot all about it. So, yeah. All right, I think I can probably give you that one. But, I think Punisher stays a good +1. I can't see him being worse than that. I'm surprised there's a tier between those two. I'm not going to lie. But, I can live with it. All right, so you're going to put Daredevil down to average +1. So you and chat definitely have that one. You guys outvoted me there. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. Kingpin. Still don't know if we got him in the right place. He's a one-trick pony. I think he should be average. I really do. Like, yep, he scales well in a way that he just becomes an absolute tank later on. That defense up is great. The offense up is great. But that special is a waste of space. An absolute waste of space.
Yes, but he makes any team you put him in better.
If he lives to his first turn. Or he doesn't get ability
amount of
blocked.
health.
Or they don't get out of disrupt. Like, there's so many. If he had faster speed, or if he had a better chance of calling in assist on his basic and passive, we wouldn't be fighting this fight. You'd have him at good, hands down. Maybe even +1 in a villain squad, right?
I'm not saying that there aren't counters to him, and I'm not arguing that he's a low demigod character. But the fact that any squad you put him in, give every single ally offense up, defense up, and with the amount of health that he has, he's gonna live through that first turn. I think that's a good character.
See, the minions, he does nothing else. It's one buff, right? So, I mean, Merc Lieutenant, which is another one we fought over, is higher up. It's the same argument for him, right?
Yes,
he does
but Merc
heals
Lieutenant
in that as
gives
well.
speed. And speed is another level of benefit.
True. And there is a heal and there is energy. Yeah,
Exactly.
he is better. But this is one ability, right? We're literally doing this for one ability. The reason that Strife is in average is because he only has one ability that's redeeming. Thank you, Belboroy, for the tier 1 sub too. He's got one redeeming ability. That's it. admittedly, Kingpin's version of that is better.
I am willing to see what chat has to say on this one.
Chat is quite torn. There's average, there is fine where it is. There's more average than good. Let's see what the next 4 or 5 responses are to see if it really tips it over or not. We're seeing an average, good. They're saying if Wasp is good, Kingpin is good. Good. That's literally a split right now. That's literally in half. Average +1. All right,
well,
next couple of answers. We need some more average +1. Average -1, says some of them.
I think that's a tune into next month's tier stream and see if he is still in the good tier.
Yeah, it's literally split down the middle, which makes me feel better about our conversation yesterday because, yeah, we were like, man, you can kind of see both sides. I think there is slightly more averages than goods, though. It's starting to run away with the averages now. I think he slides down to average for this month, and then we'll have a look at him next month. Put him in our list of ones for review, and we'll think about what we've done.
Sounds good.
Now, here's the thing, though. If you're moving, and we talked about this as well, if you're moving him down, I think Hand Sentry goes with him.
Man, I don't disagree with that.
He's a one-trick pony as well, man. 100%. Oh, thank you to Blameful Gecko for the gift sub to Devs Planning as well. Yeah, Hand Sentry, I don't think he can stay. I think if Kingpin goes, he's a one-trick pony, Hand Sentry's a one-trick pony, and less useful than Kingpin, I think he probably slides down with him. Because he's exposed. He's exposed after he does that first ability, he dies, and then you've got a team full of things that can get pumped pretty hard.
Yep.
Yeah. Average?
Yep.
Boom. Merc Rightguard. Now, this is one where it was the opposite. You wanted him up here. I want him down in average. But I think he's incredibly good in war. But the fact that he is defense upping all the time, his basic's useless, though.
Yeah, but I mean, his special has such a low cooldown. He's constantly taunting and defensing up.
Yeah.
Constantly.
That's the thing, though. When you think about that, though, is he really better than Kree Royal Guard? Oh, yeah, because Kree Royal Guard's got that stupid 5-turn cooldown, doesn't he? I keep forgetting about that, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay.
And I mean, in Synergy team, Merc LT is going to be giving him energy as well. So, I mean, just...
It literally is every turn. Yeah, you're right. And because that energy feed is out there as one, and this has come up a couple times right now, some people are saying +1, but I don't think he's that good that he gets a +1 outside of war. But I think
I agree.
He's got the War God anyway, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. A few people are saying, MRG maybe +1 in the Synergy team. What do you think? Is there a case to be made there? Is he in a low demigod? I don't think he's that high.
He's definitely an underrated protector. Definitely.
Well, he is now in that team. Well, does he deserve a +1? Does he get better and does he make that team good? I mean, when you put it on paper like that, he probably does.
He probably does.
So what, good +1?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised we didn't fight hard about this yesterday. Neither of us really pushed for a +1 on him, but it does make a lot of sense. He probably should be in there.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. A lot of people are saying like he's too slow, but he doesn't need to be fast in that team because you've got Taskmaster. He's going to blind everyone to buy time to get their defense up, and then once it's in, then it's locked in, right? So it's pretty good. Yeah, I think probably good +1. I think we can give that.
Yeah.
The Vulture. I think he's good. He's literally a midline character. The only thing that kept him in good really is his damage is all right, but it's mainly about the fact he's got that slow on the special, and he has that turn meter rewind and a little bit of turn meter manipulation for himself as well. I think he's a flat good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't remember us putting a +1 on Goblin. Why did we do that?
Sounds a lot like your idea.
Does it? I want to take it back if I did. I don't think he's worth a +1. What does he get out of that squad? Oh, no, I remember why. It's because when he is in a team of Spider-Verse, he gives defense down.
That's
no,
right.
He doesn't.
Yes.
No, he doesn't. I've got that wrong again. No, he doesn't.
That's what you said yesterday.
He only does it on Spawn, doesn't he?
Let me see.
No, what he does is he's like Yondu. That's why he got the +1. He takes away a buff on every Spider-Verse character's turn. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. There you go. Chat's confirming I'm not crazy. I think that's worth a +1 because that's 5 buffs gone every team rotation. That's crazy good. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he's better than that outside of it. He's got great damage. He really does have great damage. But he's just so damn slow. And he's such a random character too. Like most of his kit is defined by randomness. So yeah. I tell you, if that ult was single target, that you could just keep smashing it down, and then if it, like almost like X23, like if it killed that, then jumped to the next target, I think he'd go up a tier. I really do. But as is, I think he probably stays there. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, Okoye. This is one that I fought for her good. You fought for average. Do you want to fight that fight again?
I'm comfortable with her being in good.
It's just the utility that she's got, and if she didn't have that speed, she'd definitely drop down. But she removes buffs. She does defense down. She can call assist in the right team. But yeah, she loses a lot. People saying trash. No way she falls that far down. No way she falls down to trash. No way. You know what? The chat in a couple of cases there, I don't know that they're wrong about maybe average +1. Because she is assisting a fair bit on a Wakandan squad.
Clearing positive effects on a basic with a focus bump?
But think about it. Most of the time she does that, it's in that team, right?
Why?
It's in the Wakandan team because she's getting the assist. So she's only going to clear 1. And then if you think about that turn, right, how often is she going to use it by herself? It's going to be on the ultimate. She's going to use her special. Then she's going to clear 1 buff every 3 turns, right? When she's in the Wakandan team, however, she has, it's a rough chance. It doesn't really happen, but it could be 3 out of the 5 turns that turn, she'll clear a buff. I think maybe +1 out of average makes more sense.
I still miss original Okoye.
Don't we all? Don't we all? What a monster that would have been. The original holy trinity of Miss Marvel, Black Panther, and Black Panther is the one we're arguing about.
So we think average +1.
I think average +1 is probably where she belongs. She's definitely not trash. I know a lot of people saying that because there's a lot of hate about Wakandans, but she's not that far down. There's no way she's worse than some of those characters in average. No way. I think the further she falls is average. This is one that I will fight on, 100%. Yeah, average +1.
Only be one.
Gleason says can't remove shit. At T12 she can. I mean, sorry, at T14. And that's what we're building this on. We're not saying anyone will be insane enough to do that, but still scaling it that way. But we still dropped it down to average +1. All right. Now, Scientist Supreme, should she be this far down? Because she does most of the work by herself, but she is really a liability everywhere else in the game except for Raid. But DD3, she goes right as well. Man, this is one that we were pretty confident. This is one we were pretty confident she was too low the other day.
I don't know. By herself, I mean, the surest way to lose a Blitz match is to use Scientist Supreme in a non-aim squad.
See, I don't think that's the case anymore because there's a lot of characters that are allowing her to be used again, right? So there's a few people in chat saying, well, we can't use her at Ultima 7 anymore. The fact is I use her just fine on certain nodes in Ultima 7 difficulty 4 because she's a fantastic cleansing character. And if you do use her ultimate out of the gate, you are going to be able to put all the debuffs down the enemy team, and Maw and Thanos have immunity. So, I mean, she still has relevance in the current Ultima 7 raid teams too. So it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's probably characters that are better on those nodes, but she's still very usable. I still don't know if we have her too low. I don't think she's Demigod, but I think she could go into low Demi.
Outside of Raid, though? I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If you think about DD3, and I know it's only going to be something we're only going to finish probably twice.
I think it's real close.
I reckon she's low Demi. At the very least. I still use her a lot. I really do. In a lot.
Okay.
Not.
It looks like chat's with you on that as well.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Good. Do you know what? And that's a good point too. The revive alone. Come on.
That is a fair point.
Come on. All right. Let's put that on the list for next month that we'll come back and have a loop round to. But yeah, I think low demi is pretty much the way to go. Yeah.
All right.
Now, this is one you and I thought about. I think Kree Noble could actually go one higher. Watch chat tell me I'm an idiot now, though. But I do think that Kree Noble could move up as well. Because she does energy feed on a basic. She does a cleanse on the passive, which means at a minimum of every turn that's going to happen. And then she has a monstrous assist. When she has enough red stars, like 4 or 5, she goes bang, and then she calls someone else to do the same thing. She does have the health of a minion, I'll give you that. But I think that she's pretty damn good. What do you think? I think everyone's going to be saying what you're about to say.
I don't see it.
Okay. Chat's with you on
Too
that one
limited.
anyway.
Yeah.
Chat's mainly with you there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I just see her, especially in a Kree team. So I think the +1 has to be there at a minimum.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because what she does for that team, especially Ultimates, like you watch her usability go through the roof when people start getting those 5 red stars on Ultimates. Park those 2 together, get a Minerva on that squad, plus any 2, really. The team's going to do some work, man. It's going to do some work.
Absolutely.
All right, Yondu. I believe I said average, but you want captain of the Blue Man Group up here in good.
Oh, I will fight. I will fight the people's fight for Yondu being in the good tier.
It's June 2020, bro, not June 2018.
So we're clearing positive effects on the basic. He can summon.
Well,
when he
does
that,
he as
gets-
much now? Is his focus enough now? Because I think he's struggling hard on the focus train.
At gear 14?
Whoa, it's better, but it's still not on the high end.
I think he would do just fine.
I don't know. His damage sucks and his summon suck.
His damage doesn't suck whenever after his special when he gets offensed up. That the damage from his ultimate isn't suck territory.
So we gotta get to his 3rd turn before he does something that's that level of awesome.
Yes, but it's still piercing damage and it's undodgeable.
I don't think you're right on this one. I think he drops back down to average. What's chat saying? Chat's mainly average so far. Average, average, average. There's 2 goods to balance it out. Average. Junk. There's a few junks and average -2s. He's dead by turn 2. Average, 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 average. So most people, are you willing to concede this one? No one. Everyone wants him to be great. Everyone wants him to come out of the sky with his Mary Poppins thing and Mary Poppins, y'all. Everyone wants to see him succeed. And the whistling, everyone wants him to be an amazing character. The problem is, it is not June 2018. His time, unfortunately, is not right now. I think he's average.
This hurts my soul.
Yeah. Chat's
okay.
pretty much there at this stage. There's a few people on your side for sure, but it's definitely at least 70-30 in the chat. All right. Next one.
All right. Yeah.
Low demi. All right. So a lot of people are arguing for Demigod because I don't think they realize we have low demi in our tiers. Because
Right. Yeah.
people are like, no, Demigod.
Wait, what?
It's like, no, it's not Demigod. All right. This is
I definitely
Jam.
think these are 2 separate tiers. You have a clear class of demigod and then people that just quite aren't as good.
Yeah. There's a few in here that are going to be interesting. Now, Carnage is one that is the +2 is the controversial part.
Yeah.
Is he God tier in the right team? And I think the answer is yes. Like what that team can do now with Symbiote Spider-Man and Venom already is just insanely good. I think X-23, there can be some absolute shenanigans there as well. So I think low demi is where he stands. But the question is, should he be in full demi? And this is where, did you say that yesterday or were we both on the same page here on this one?
No, I said demigod yesterday.
Now, here's the thing. No one was using Carnage at that point by himself 2 months ago or 3 months ago. It's only since Symbiote Spider-Man has come up to that point that he is that level of good. Carnage by himself does not have the kit to be at that level, in my opinion, right? And the main reason is there's only one thing that stops me from agreeing with all of you, and that is his special. His special ruins everything, right? Because his special takes away the debuffs. If it didn't do that, it'd be actually a pretty decent kit. But the problem is, he ruins a lot of his own kit. The spread on his basic, wonderful. His passive, god tier by itself. His ultimate, incredible. But that special, it really undoes a lot of the good work. I mean, you don't have to use it, of course. You can spray it when someone's cleansed off as well. But I don't think by himself, and that's what we're talking about here, by himself, if he doesn't have that feed to other symbiotes, is he that good? And what I would put into the ring for this conversation is Black Panther. Exactly the same thing. If you don't get a kill train started, right, Black Panther is borderline useless. Not the same level of, Carnage is definitely better than Black Panther, but they've both got the same problem. If they don't have them by themselves, I just don't think they scale up enough to be Demigod by themselves.
See, I think if his special didn't remove negative effects, it's a question that he would be a god tier character, not a demigod character. I think he's already in the demigod character tier just on his damage numbers alone. You look at what those are at with the T4, they're insane, especially with
what is his damage on T14 though? Because his damage doesn't feel as good as the others.
So
at 75 4 red stars.
The technology.
Yeah, I mean, chat's right. We only really use that special on like tanks where there's no buffs up on the table.
So his damage at Gear Tier 14 is 13k.
That's real low by modern standards. I mean, yeah, I know it's not about that because you're expecting him to go a lot. But yeah, I don't think he's a full demi. What's chat been saying? Because I don't think he's as good by himself. I don't think you can put Carnage in any team and guarantee that it wins or makes it better. And Demigods, a lot of the characters in there can do that. Low demi,
I can see
low
this
demi.
one. I can see both arguments for him being demi or low demi.
I think we all agree. In the right team, this dude is one of the best characters in the game. 100%. That rework that he got made him so relevant. But I just don't think he goes that far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Now we have Cyclops. What do we think?
Yeah, I think his damage keeps him at low demigod. If he didn't have that, I think he'd be a good character. He's more on the lower end of low demigod for me than
I agree.
Than nudging the demigod tier.
He's a very one-trick pony. 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so much relies upon him being with Phoenix.
Ghost Rider is one that we fought about.
Yes.
I don't think he should be up this high. I think he should be in good. But I think he should get a +2 in good. I think in a supernatural team, I think he's a demigod, right? But I think outside of that team, we got to remember what makes Ghost Rider good, Pika? What makes him good?
The fact that he gives energy on kill. Or, what is it? Ugh. I'm trying to open up this kit.
Yeah, for him to do his work outside of a supernatural team,
yeah, he grants the energy on
people
death.
People in your team have to die.
Yeah.
Right? And if people in your team are dying, you're not going the right way. You're losing, right? You're dying. He is not by himself outside of that synergy. I don't know that he fits up here. I mean, we all know he scales really well. Like, if you have really high reds on him, he can go real well. But, you know, he's kind of one of those characters that he only becomes good if he's like the third, fourth biggest threat in the room, right? It's like the other characters around him are like, well, I can't kill Ghost Rider as much as I want to because I got to deal with this Black Bolt, or I have to deal with this Phoenix, or whatever's around there, right? He's just one of those characters that he scales, he does his job, but to do it, people have to die. And I think there's a liability in that.
Yeah, I think he becomes such a priority target that you almost have to kill him first, because if you start killing off, his other allies, that's whenever he comes back to haunt you, to really to hurt you. And I think any character that you have to prioritize like that you kind of fear in the match, pulls him above good, because you're basing your match around him.
Yeah. And there's people in chat that are basically saying because of his PvP, because he's picked almost always, that he should almost be a demigod. But here's my argument there. The reason he's always picked in PvP is he's one of those characters that's not good enough to ban, and he's kind of in that middle tier of he's still good enough to pick. So I don't know that he earns demigod flat. Demigod in the right team, I could give you that. But I don't know. Full demi seems a bit much.
Full demi feels a bit much for me too. I'm comfortable with low demigod.
Yeah. He's one of those ones that as we get him farmed up and all that sort of stuff, yeah, there's a lot of people suggesting full demi here. I don't know that I give it.
I don't know that PvP is enough to make him a full demigod character.
I don't think so. I mean, I can see demigod in the supernatural team. I'm not arguing against that for 1 second. No. Or even in the right sort of team where people are supposed to die, relatively early. You and I were talking about off air yesterday. We kind of love the idea of Ghost Rider with Domino and Deadpool right now, because theoretically you get on this, endless death list, which could be pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't know if he's a full demi. Evil Greg doesn't count. It's only non-summon minions, dude. Pretty much everyone else in chat that's commented is saying full demi.
That's what my instinct was, but you convinced me down to the low demigod.
Well,
just
I mean,
because of how reliant he is on
I've still got cases for still good, but I mean, I'm seeing what a lot of people say. Like, he is performing well in the right areas of the game. He's doing nothing in raids. He's doing a little bit in DD3, but that's only because that's designed to kill you really quickly. But full demi, I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, let's put it this way. All right, let's turn to a different conversation. In a team by themselves without a perfect synergy, a Carnage and Ghost Rider on the same tier, or is one better than the other?
I think they're on the same tier.
I don't think that Carnage. I don't think Ghost Rider is better than Carnage. I didn't
say better. I said the same.
No, I think I'm happy enough to keep him here, but we'll put him on the review list for next month.
Okay.
Yeah. Now this is one that'll be interesting to see. Strange. Amazing kit. Goddamn awful stats.
Yes.
Does he still hang on to low demi in this day and age?
His revive, I think, keeps him in the low demigod. If he didn't have the revive.
Twin revives in that synergy, but he has to get to that point, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Does he live to that point? Like, and then how's his focus though? Is it hanging on? I mean, he does cleanse if they resist the flip. So there is that. But I think his stats don't really go that well compared to a lot of others. I think he still should drop down. Like +1, 100%.
His focus, there's nothing wrong with his focus at Gear 14. He's got almost 10,000 focus.
But his speed with that squishiness though?
108 speed, that's average.
I don't know. I feel like it's too slow to be able to get what he needs done. I think it's good +1.
Good +1.
I just don't think the stats back him up. Well, there's 3 arguments here, right? He's either good +2, good +1, or actually 4. Demi flat or demi +1. I don't think he's demi. I don't think he's anything flat. I think in a supernatural team he comes so much better I don't think that tracks. Few people saying good +2.
See, I think he's the keystone character to that supernatural team.
But that's the point, in that team, right?
So I think, well, what I'm saying is, so in that team, I think he's Demigod. So it's either low Demigod +1 or good +2.
Yeah, I think that probably is the argument, right? Yeah, so we're thinking good +2 or Demi +1. What does chat think? It's been pretty mixed in chat so far. We'll look at the next couple of things and try and split that out. Good +2, good +2. Low Demi, good +2. Good +1, good +2, good +2. Good +2 probably wins it. So good +2 for Doctor Strange. All right. Now, Mordo is an interesting one for sure. The thing is, does he follow him down? Mordo is a good standalone character.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that energy feed. He's got that blind. He's got a stun. He's got a heal block, which in this particular stage of the game is insanely good. Like his kit on paper and his health when things are dying as well. Whew, buddy.
Yeah.
He's got a great kit and his health pool is not terrible either. I think he probably hangs on to low damage.
Even outside of that team, if he's the only supernatural, anytime any character dies, he's just going to be healing himself.
Yeah.
So,
and in that team especially, the energy feed and the heal gets crazy. So I think he still has to have a +1 no matter where we put him. It's just, is he a low demi flat or low demi +1? I think he has to be +1. That puts both of them on the same page at demi in the same team, which feels about right. Because Supernatural all combined is crazy good, and mainly because of those two and Ghost Rider.
Okay. Yeah. I think he's low demi +1.
Yep. Now, this one was hard. Quake. Quake's kit is still good, but she's squishy. She has...
but is Quake still good?
Is Quake still good? What did I say?
No, that's what I'm saying. Her kit is quite good, but is she still good?
Yeah, I have a feeling she backs down. I have a feeling we should almost... Yeah, I don't know.
Again, I think she's at the lower edges here, but slow is still a pretty powerful ability on a basic for...
I think she's being power creeped out, though. Like, look at her friends up here in this tier already, right?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty hard to justify her being up here. But here's the thing that's wrong, though, is that it feels like she should belong up here in a team, but she doesn't actually make another team or anything else get that good. Because, like, in the Inhumans, she doesn't really give anything. That's the problem. No. And it feels rough giving her a good... This is almost an in-between.
She gives like 5% focus to Inhumans, and that's it.
Yeah, so she's either good by herself or she's not. She's not a plus something character.
I mean, she does clear 2 positive effects on her special, and it has a really low cooldown. But I don't know that that's enough to keep her in the low demigod conversation.
No, I think she's good. I think she's flat good. I don't think you can justify a +1. Like, back in the day, sure, but I just don't think she stacks that well because... Yeah, you can probably set her up for Crystal to spike, but Crystal can kind of do that by herself anyway. So I think she's probably just flat good. Yeah. Coulson at flat demi, God of War sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
I think he translates pretty well. This one's the one I'm worried about, is X-23. I have a feeling we're looking at her kit and thinking she's going to scale crazy well. And that 40% extra speed or extra turn meter when anything drops below 50%, we're like, dude, she's going to be crazy good in a lot of game modes. And I love the idea of her with Spider-Verse symbiotes. Like, I think that team is going to be stupid if you're not using that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. She feels like she has the potential to be here. The only thing that bothers me is that it feels like her kit was built to need the 50% extra damage from Negasonic. is that I wonder, without that extra 50% damage, is she good enough to spike that damage out? And my concern is no, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. the
that's why I think the +1 no matter what stays, because in the right team she definitely gets much better. But the question is, does she drop below, right? Does she handle herself outside of it? So Remen's in the chat at the moment. So Remen, what do you think? You've been using her a lot because you've got big red stars on her. Do you think she hangs in raids? Yeah, with Symbiote, there's no doubt on paper, in Symbiote she's going to be great because she's got almost the same amount of damage as Carnage. Yes, she doesn't have as much of the utility, but the amount of repeated hits that she gets, the amount of turns she's going to take, because the rest of the Symbiotes, they have to get characters down to 25%. She only has to get them down to 50, right? And there's so many teams that spike below 50 and then come back up again. Like, for example, if you use her against Inhumans, that could be hilarious because they're going to drop below 50. Crystal's going to go, boop, bump them back up. Someone's going to knock them straight back down, and she's going to go again. Like, there's potentially, 8 or so turns that she can take in the right squad. So her basic's great because of the evade. She's got ability blocks. Like, her kit on paper is so bloody good. So bloody good. But it's just she's so new. It's like, where does she go? So I have a feeling we kind of have to leave her here for now.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? And then review next month. Because her kit alone, ability block, evading, heals, turn meter, nukes, that 50% is the selling point for me. Because anything that has that kind of turn meter reduction is just crazy.
Yeah. I think this is where we keep her for now.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Because she's definitely at least Demi in that squad. The question is, for game-wide by herself, is she good enough to go up at that point? I don't think she's God tier. Even in that team, I don't think she's God tier. For raids, for Alliance War, yeah. She probably deserves that Alliance War bonus for being top tier. But the question is she Demi flat? At the moment, I don't think so. I think she's definitely Demi +1, but is she Demi flat?
I think low Demi +1.
Yeah. For now, I think I'm confident enough to stay that. We'll have a look once we get some more game time with her for next month.
Yep.
All right. Shield Medic, I still think too high. This is one that you're fighting on behalf of the newer players in the game. You think that this is really the only healer that carries this far up, but I don't think she deserves to be here. No way.
Because she's probably the best early game healer that carries you through the whole early game and into the mid game. You can invest in her and never regret it. Also, her basic's not bad. It does a good bit of damage. You also have her, applying offense down, which in this game and in raids is huge. On crit, she has the reduced speed bar by 25%. That's not nothing. The little bit of revive chance. I
don't think she hangs on this high. I think she's good. Look around this tier. Right? In the right squad, she's very, very good. And that's why we took off the +1 when you wanted to bring her up this high, right? But I think she's maybe... I don't even think we can give her a good +1. No, probably good +1. Because in that squad, her and Coulson, stupid. Yeah. And even her and Shield, not Trooper. What's that guy's name? Who's there, buddy? I think good +1 is probably where she belongs, right?
Yeah, she's giving out extra regen in that team.
That's actually a good question. Do you think she deserves, because of that Coulson synergy, a war tag? Like, that's probably fair.
That probably is fair.
So what? Good +1 with a war tag. I think I can live with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good suggestion, chat. I think that's fair. Psylocke. She can clear buffs, multiple. She can take every buff that's on your squad and say, bye-bye, and throw it at the enemy team. She doesn't have the greatest basic, it's just a bit of piercing damage. And then the evades that she throws out is pretty good as well. Is she low demi, though?
I think she's clearly better than the class of characters we have in good.
Yeah, but is she as good as what's up here? Well, there's not really anyone using her in the current X-Men squad. And she does make... Yeah, this is a really hard one. Because she's either low demi flat or good +1, but like... If each one of these things was a band of 10, like she'd be like 1 low demigod, she'd be like 10 good. Do you know what I mean? Like she's so there, but not, yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's low demi +2. I don't think she makes an X-Men team or herself God. She's not God. No. It's not, yeah, I don't think she gets a +1 up here. We were pretty, the debate we had behind the scenes, she was either good +1 or she was flat demi. We don't think she scales up better than that.
Flat low demi.
Flat low demi. Sorry. Too many tiers, bro.
You're telling me.
Yeah. Very, very low demigod. She's really hard to place, man. Because it's basically, yeah, her speed. Basic's not amazing. It's not terrible. Probably good +1 seems to be the consensus here, mate. She is great in brawlers, yeah. All right. Colossus. You and I fought about this one.
Yes, we did.
I say flat demi. I say demigod +1. And I'm pretty sure you said low demi +1. I don't think you wanted the +2 here because you don't think he's God tier in the right team. Was that right or wrong?
Well, no, I think in the X-Men team, I think he's God tier.
Yeah. So tell me why you don't think he's good by himself. I think he's stupidly good by himself. I will agree with you that he's not as good as in that team, but I don't think he's 2 tiers lower when he's by himself. When he gets that defense up, you're not taking anything off him. He's got death proofs. The reflected damage is stupid. If someone puts an offense up on him, or someone else, either way, someone will get a defense up on him, right? But I think he definitely goes up 1. The argument you and I had is because of the next tier. Jugs is definitely a demi. And your argument was he's not as good as Juggernaut by himself, which I think is true, but I don't think a full tier less.
So he only gets the defense up when he's in that team.
But anyone can give him defense up. Shuri could give him defense up. So early, it doesn't matter, right? A team can give him defense up. If that's the only thing that he needs, there's so many other ways you can work around that to give him that. I don't think he needs that to do his job, though.
I think his survivability is greatly reduced, though.
Are you serious? Have you got him at T14? He's stupid.
I do.
Yeah, I wish I had 7 red stars on him. Like, the reflected damage that Colossus does, especially if he has an offense up, is crazy good. Right? Him and Thing, the reflected damage is dumb. How much damage those two do and how well it scales is pretty great.
I think what throws me is how closely, like, especially his passive is tied to Phoenix. Like, he's just, he's so built to
but that's
protect
why he's,
her whenever
that's why he's not God, right? That's why he's not flat God. But I still think he's got the stats. He has the kit to be by himself a flat demi. I just don't think he's this far down. As a tank, he's one of the best characters in the game.
Oh, I don't disagree.
So where's chat? Because you and I are quite split on this. We've got flat demi. We've got demi +2, full demi. It's about half and half at this stage. Flat demi, low demi, full demi. It's literally 50-50 at the moment.
So many demi.
Yeah. For every demi, there's a demi. It's starting to split to demi now.
Yeah.
Demi +1. Yeah. So demi +1?
Yeah.
Okay. Done. Deadpool, I still don't know that he deserves to be this high. Tell me why I'm wrong again.
Okay, because he does the little extra utility, the bleed on minions. He got the damage boost. He's quick. The ult hits like a truck. Ignore stealth. Well, that's, I guess, only with X-23 as an ally, but still.
See, in the right synergy team, I think
I know
he
what it
comes
was.
up. Yeah.
I put him in low demi because he heals off of negative effects applied to him. I think that moves him above good.
The thing is, though, like, the one you really want him to heal off is bleeds. And the problem is that the bleeds tick and he still dies, right? I just don't know he feels this high. I think he's still one tier lower than this. And in the right synergy, maybe can give him a +1 to a low demi, but I don't think he lives here. I think he might visit, but I don't think he lives here. I think he definitely deserves now. He's part of a war, top tier team, but I don't think he lives in here. A year ago, definitely 18 months ago, 100%. But I think at best he's probably good +1 with a tag, or maybe just good in a tag. I don't know.
I would say with Cable, he's easily low demigod.
So you think good +1 with the war tag?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I can live with that. I just don't think he's here under any circumstance. Yep.
Okay.
Right, now, here's the thing. Cable is a tough one now because of that rework. The utility that he's got now is pretty awesome because every time his special goes off now, he is going to have some challenges in, like, I don't know whether to keep him here or not. I really don't. The turn meter up on spawn, the turn meter down that he does on his special, the fact that he's stripping buffs now as well for probably an entire team. I think now after rework, because of utility, he's probably still here.
I think he is.
Just because, yeah, that much utility on one character. Turn meter reduction and buff clears, man. Especially now that he can charge himself so easy with that basic.
Yep.
Yeah, so what, low demi with the war tag?
Yep.
Boom, done. All right, Groot. CIM. Yeah, I think he can probably still live here.
I am Groot.
Mantis is the one that I think should drop. And I know what your argument was yesterday. You said to me that she deserves to be here because if Minerva wasn't in the game, she would be in this tier.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard. Yeah. I mean, look around too. Like, she's not as good as Groot. And that was what I was sort of saying yesterday. She's not as good as, the possible X-23s or Ghost Riders or Carnages of this world. I think she definitely drops.
So her heal, her ult, super low cooldown. The health redistribution ignores heal block, and she skips summons.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good heal.
But there's so many asterisks in her kit, right? It's like every ability that she has depends on something else. So there's the RNG on the stun, like did you get charge or not, all right? Or having Drax in the team. Then there is, are you in a raid? In which case, if you're in a raid, yes, it will throw off the other things. I just don't think she belongs here. I don't think she gets a +1 either because I don't think she changes that much in a Guardian squad other than, what does she throw out? A death proof, I think, and then regens on everyone. No, that's raid. Either way, I think she doesn't get a +1.
She puts deflect on Drax.
Deflect on Drax. I think she has something else in there as well. Anyway, I think because of the RNG nature and the specificity of her kit, she's probably still good and just flat at that.
Even with a 15% passive heal?
Yeah. Hey, you said you were saying that was my whole reason for hanging on to Night Nurse being trash, right? If that's the thing you're hanging on to, then she can drop down. I think it is very good what she does. Like her kit is good.
You're not allowed to use my argument against me.
Well, plus, I mean, her and Drax have finally found love, man. Do you really want to split them up on tiers? Like, don't be that guy.
Could you imagine if the two of them made a baby?
It'd be invisible. You'd never be able to see it.
Oh, my brain's going to a dark place. We've been doing tier stream for too long.
Yeah, but no, I think she goes down. I think she's just flat good.
I do not think she's a +1, even in good, so...
No, just flat good.
Yeah.
Iron Fist was a point of debate. His stats don't hold up wonderfully, but he does have a lot of utility in that kit. And the way he scales, that if he does trigger that passive, that can make defenders real annoying.
I think he's easily, maybe not easily, he's among the best city characters.
But But he does lose a lot, right? Outside of defenders. Because we were debating this. Like, I think originally we were almost sold on good +1 the entire time. Right? But
Yeah.
By himself, though, I just don't think he is. Not in June 2020. June a year ago, maybe he still had on to this. Even then, maybe not. But June 2020, I don't know. I don't think so.
Dropping him down, good +1.
I think good +1. In the right
Yeah.
city team, yeah. I think so. This was another one we were pretty torn about, too, as to whether or not it was going to be good or low demi. And I think he's probably good, old Spiny. His kit's amazing. Like, he's got defense down, he's got spawn, he's got evade, he's got turn meter when he does evade. His kit as a solo is pretty great. But does he hang on because of his squishiness that he can blow apart now? Does he hang into low demi? And I don't think he does.
If he didn't have the crazy dodge, I would agree with you. But
Well,
with that,
there's AI dodge versus our dodge, right? I mean, it's like saying, is it my Iron Fist here, or is it the 2 Iron Fists that drop in DD3, right? There's 2 crazy things there. But I think she falls down. I think he falls down 1.
I don't know. I still think he's low demigod. The stun and slow, the super low cooldown on the chain defense down special,
That
getting
part's
a
pretty
beat on
good.
his basic. He still has good damage stats. His damage hasn't fallen off really. I think he's still a low demigod character. I think putting him as good and looking at who we also put in good is a disservice to his kit and his stats.
See, I don't know, man. Like, the fact that he's so squished compared now is pretty nuts. I don't think he stays here. I think he's too squished now. And the thing is, his attack isn't that wonderful. We just think he is because of his kit, right? The stun's great. That's there. I mean, I could live with a good +1. The +1 being that in that symbiote squad, having 2 stunners and having 2 defense downers, in that squad, it kind of all makes sense. I mean, he's not getting the full benefits of the symbiotes, unfortunately. But I think good +1 makes more sense than low demi flat. But I'd probably prefer good flat if it was me. I think good flat.
Yeah, I don't know that he gets the +1 because other than a little bit of health, I don't know what else he gains in that symbiote team.
Yeah. It's so close to being, yeah. This is kind of similar that it's, yeah, I think flat good is where he has to move to.
You take Yondu away from me in the good tier. Now it's Spider-Man out of the low demigod.
Well, I'm not done yet
Crushing my
either
soul.
because we're going to talk about Miss
Yeah.
Marvel next because I know that she's here because of you as well. Yeah. I mean, what she does to that Brawlers team, and in that Brawlers team, she's amazing. Even in what she can do in the Inhumans team, like in specific teams, she's very good. And the fact that she does taunt on a 50% drop is also very good. I just don't know again, for now, with how far the Brawler dynamic has gone away, that her by herself without the right synergy team, does she hang on to low demigod?
It's difficult because so much of her kit relies on a brawler being with her to actually highlight it and focus it and feature it. So that is difficult evaluating her as a solo. Her damage definitely is trailing off with power creep. She definitely doesn't hit kind of as hard as she used to, but I don't know that she's fallen completely out of low demigod.
I think as of right now, I don't think by herself she hangs on. Because if you put her in any team, like, I think she kind of has the same job at that point without the Brawler synergy. She's kind of like the shield security, but with less, kind of oomph. Like, she does the energy feed, that's great. She's got the AoE, which can actually do a fair bit of damage. Like, she scales pretty well damage-wise. But most of that kit's really locked in that. I don't think she hangs on to this. I think maybe good +1 for now.
I would say an easy good +1.
Yeah. What do you think? There's a case to be made for good +2?
No.
Okay. Well, good +1. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, good +1. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Killmonger is a roughie. And I think wherever we put him, because of mercs, not Wakandans, we need to give him a +1 somewhere. Well, in both +1, really. I think he's going to be a +1 wherever we put him. Because he does get way better in both of those teams. Because when he gets defense up, well, actually, let's flip even further. Any team that gives him defense up, he will be better because he's going to fire off that passive. His damage on the AoE is pretty good. He's just a flat damage character, but the damage is pretty good. The question really is probably, oh man, he can scale pretty well. I don't know about that one. Everyone's saying give him a war tag. Low demi +1.
I don't know if he gets that much. That feels a little generous to me.
I don't know, man. Have you put him in there versus Merc Sniper? Because I got a Merc Sniper at 6 reds, and I got a KM at 4, and the KM is oceans difference. I know that's a minion versus that, but theoretically, you know, it shouldn't be that different. Maybe low demi +1.
I'll say this. I think once ISO 8 comes to the game, I think then that easily puts him into the Demigod.
He's going to be demi minimum, yeah.
But I don't think without it, he's there yet.
Well, if that's the case, then +1 makes sense in the right synergy then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big Tardy Rhino. Big damage. He can flip like a team's blind if it lands on him. He can do, adjacent, I think it is.
Yeah.
He's pretty darn good. He doesn't really get boosted that much by people around him unless they get an offense up. That's the only thing. So I think he's a flat wherever we put him. The question is he speed detrimental enough that he drops back down to good? Because, I mean, having the split damage on the special is awesome. The split damage, with the taunt as well, I might add. And then the split damage AoE on the ultimate's pretty great. His basic's super crappy. But that passive with the buff on the blind type thing, like that makes him a threat that you cannot use characters like Mags on him. I think he's either really, really, really high good or really, really, really low demi. He's another one of those splits. Only because of his damage. Agree. Where do you think he ends up? Which side of the coin? If he's that close, do we just leave it to chat?
Okay, compare him to Shield Security and Drax. Same tier, or is he better?
He's better than those two currently.
Then I think he's low Demigod.
I don't know, man. Yeah. Because the only reason he's there is the blind. I think if he didn't have that part, it's probably more about his damage, which is why we like him. And that speed, his taunt's not coming up early. So you're right. They're tanks in different ways. The other two are more true tanks. He's just a heavy hitter that almost acts like not a controller, but like a cleanser. No, I'm going to say high good. Real high good. And flat, too. I don't think he's got a +1.
Yeah, I don't think it's a +1.
Yeah. So what, good flat?
All right, good flat.
Now, the question about Crystal was demi or low demi +1. Whether she's flat demi or low demi. I think she's low demi +1. I think she falls off a lot outside of that team. But she is very good. But I don't think she's God tier good.
No.
Yeah, I don't think she's God tier good. She's very good, but not God tier good. So I'm pretty comfortable with low demi +1, to be honest. Because in that Inhuman squad, she's pretty damn great.
Yeah.
All right, Pyro. Does it feel bad that we don't have a +1 for him? I suppose he doesn't really gain that much from that squad, right?
No.
I mean, he works really well in that squad, but he's not really... That's why I probably put him there. I mean, he's got the fact he can disrupt the adjacent team, which in that team, he can disrupt the entire team. He can burn them down. He's pretty good. But I'm probably pretty happy leaving him up here, actually.
Yeah, I think this is a good fit for him.
Yeah, I think we had the debate yesterday was, are we missing a +1? But I don't think we are.
I don't think so.
He does make that team better, but does that team make him better? No, I think he's probably just flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thing, man. He's definitely low demi +1. He's definitely a demigod in the Fantastic Four. 100%.
Yeah.
Now, Human Torch was interesting. We talked about this because, unfortunately, because he dies so early, he's definitely low demi. But the question is, does he deserve a +1? He's going to get out that offense up pretty early, but then he's probably going to die after that.
I don't know. If he didn't have the insanely long cooldowns that he has, I could see the argument for moving him up.
Yes. I don't think he's got a +1. I think he's just flat.
Agree.
Yep. All right. This is one you and I fought about. I don't know that Black Panther lives here anymore.
At max T4, I think he does.
You think so?
Yep. And that's what we're evaluating at.
I don't think so. I think his damage is just too insufficient, and if he doesn't get that ball rolling, I just think he falls off way too hard. And this is what we were talking about yesterday. Like, in the right team, like in a brawler squad or in a Wakanda, he can put the work in. But even in Wakanda, the reason that team didn't work is that they were relying on him to get the ball rolling with the damage, and he never had it. Killmonger is a much better damage dealer all-rounder than Black Panther, unfortunately. And I actually think that Killmonger is the better character from that squad now instead of him. So unfortunately,
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I think he does drop down. The question is, does he deserve a +1 in the right mix? Like in a brawler squad, did he deserve a +1 because of Wakanda? That's really the debate. You know, does he come back up this high with that? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think
Does
so
he get the
anymore. I
+1?
mean, which is incredible thinking of where that team was once upon a time. But now, I don't think so.
So you think he's a flat good?
Yeah, I mean, look at the other brawlers that have the same sort of capabilities. You got like Miss Marvel, America Chavez. Like, there's a lot that bring a lot more damage to that team now. But I just don't think he gets that +1 anymore. He's just a character that's really paid the price for time.
I think he swayed me. I think I agree.
I think he's just flat good. I think he's just flat good, man. Like, I mean, for early game players, yeah. I mean, in lower tier gammas, like the first 3 or 4 nodes, he can crush it by himself. Like, he can just get the ball rolling and just destroy in, I think it's gamma, yeah. But then, you know, once you get halfway through, he can just die. So, yeah, I think he's full down.
Yeah.
Hulk is a fun one in the sense that he scales incredibly well. The problem is none of us are probably going to invest in that point or get lucky enough to pull a 6 or 7 red Hulk. All right, because he's got that taunt, he drops below, he cleanses himself, he basically shifts on and off. He probably does drop down because I think he's got the same argument we had for Sabretooth, is that he only really hangs up here at max reds, and mainly for Alliance War too. Everywhere else, it's like, meh.
Yeah.
Go on.
I think that's fair.
Good,
I think that's fair.
and he's got no synergies either.
Yeah.
Thor of Asgard. I'm pretty comfortable with him where he is at the moment. He's definitely better in the Asgardian squad, but by himself outside of them, not as good as he was. He's definitely falling down the ranks. I think War is where he really shines. But the question is he low demi with a +1, or is he low demi +1 with a War tag?
I think he's low demi +1.
Just flat? No War tag?
Yeah.
I think maybe not, because I mean the same bonus he gives them in War, he gives them everywhere else, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Roman X, thank you for all the gift subs, my man. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think he probably is fine as is. Toad, sell me again why he's here. I think he's 1 tier lower. He's good,
No,
but only in that team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest Toad fan, but I think what he brings in the offense down and slow for 2 turns on the basic, and that's, any team, that's pretty good. He's got good speed, and he has got super low cooldowns.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's not with Blob alone, like let's say, like not even in
he
Brotherhood,
loses. Yeah,
but that's the debate.
He loses a little. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
Yeah. I mean, I would be okay with a good plus. Definitely a good +1. Do you think he would be a good +2? Probably.
Good +2 in that team. I could see it. I mean, that team can take out Coulson, right? It can take out in punchdowns. It can take out Mercs, man. So I think that's fair. I just think by himself he's pretty bad. And I think Blob probably follows him down. I think they're both good +2, if that's the case.
I don't know. I think Blob's health saves him and his damage. Both of those are really high.
Does he do the job by himself, though? That's the thing. Like, doesn't he rely on a lot of people giving him thingies?
Well, he'll get all of the positive effects of Colossus, but he's still going to hit hard, and he's still going to be a massive pile of health.
I think he relies on having taunt placed on him, though. Like, I don't think he really gets in the way enough to be able to do it. I just think he drops back.
I think if you're evaluating him as a protector, you're probably right, but is that how you really use him?
I don't think you use him anywhere outside of War or Blitz. I really don't. I don't think that he's that great a character by himself without the right synergy. I mean, in that team, he jumps up, like we just said, 2 tiers, probably into Demigod, but I don't think he's that great by himself. I agree with you that Blob is better than Toad, but I don't think it's a full tier above.
I would say that he's probably a better character with lower usability.
Yeah, but that's kind of the point, right? We're evaluating where they are across the whole game, by themselves or otherwise.
So you would feel comfortable putting Blob and Drax in the same tier?
Comfortable is the wrong word, but I don't think that Blob deserves to be up in this tier, no. Again, he'd be like, I think Toad is probably mid in that tier. I'd say that Blob is really high in that tier, but I don't think he's better than a good. I just don't. Not by himself.
Okay.
I agree with you. His stats are great. His kit's very good, but he's missing that sort of, 15% that really gets him over the line to be awesome. But yeah, I think he's just in the good category.
So good +2?
Good +2 for both of them, I think. That makes sense. Yeah. Ironheart's rough. Ironheart's really rough to place, whether she should be, yeah.
So you have to defend this one, because I had her lower, and you took her up to low Demi.
I did, just because what she can do, power armor or not power armor, and the way her stats roll, I think she scales in a reasonable way as well. +1 or +2 is basically, are they better in the right synergy team, is the idea. If you put them with the perfect team, what tier do they go into, is what that means. So, yeah. Why did I put her at flat Demi instead of good +1? Why did I do that, Pika? So she's going to give defense down to everyone by herself, regardless of what team she's in, right?
Yeah.
She's going to give defense up straight on the ramp. Same deal. Or is that only to power armor? I can't remember now. Oh, no, that's everyone, all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To self and all power armor.
And power armor, okay. So it's pretty much the same there. Doesn't she do defense down somewhere else as well? I can't remember why I did this.
Defense down in the ult for 2 turns.
Yeah. What was their special? It's an ability block, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And reduce speed bar of the primary and adjacent targets by 20%.
Oh, that's why.
I think that's what it was.
That's why. Because she's going to do that without them. She's going to defense down the entire squad, and then she can basically rewind the turn meter while she's giving an ability block down. I think that kit by itself, without the power armor. The downside is no one's ever going to use her without power armor. That's why it's really hard sometimes with the tier list, because there are certain characters you're never going to use outside of their synergy. You're just not going to. And because of that, it's like, well, where do they actually make it? So she does make the power armor that much better. So I think she definitely earns her place on the low demigod. The question, I suppose, becomes, is she low demi flat? Because she does most of that stuff by herself. Or is she a good +1? Or in an extreme case, is she actually demi +1?
I don't think she's that high.
I don't think so either. I think because even power armor is not that high on the tier list anymore. Like, there's a lot less teams that they can beat, but it's more specific now. Like, they can do some of the real big ones, but yeah. So the question is, is it flat demi or good plus?
I don't know. I think you got her right. I'm comfortable with her in low demi.
Okay. Sounds good. Now, this is one we're pretty torn on as well. Corvus by himself.
Yeah.
He clears buffs. He can hit stealth. Yeah, I don't know about young Corvus. I really don't. I don't know if he should be lower with like a +2 or something.
I mean, the trouble with him is that a 4 red star Corvus is very different from a 6 or a 7 red star Corvus.
Yeah, but we've knocked characters down for exactly the same thing. And he does gain so much out of being with Proxima. Goob, I mean, either way, I think in Black Order, he's demi, right?
Yes.
I think no one's going to disagree with that. The question is, by himself, does he suck that level? And the question is, I had to think about this overnight. The problem is how much specificity there is in his kit. I remember when we were doing our videos for Black Order before they came out, we were like, his kit seems amazing, but you have to line everything up to be perfect. He has to be in stealth. They have to have defense up. And because of that, I'm sort of thinking maybe he's good +2.
I definitely think he's the worst character in that Black Order team.
Definitely.
I'd be fine with a good +2.
Yeah, I can live with that. Now, I do believe that this bad boy... Actually, no. I think you were saying that you think he should be demi +1 for Cull Obsidian, right? Or am I wrong? Yeah. And I was the one that was saying, by himself, I don't know if he's that far down.
Yeah. I think you got that one right. I think low demi +2 is where he lives.
Well, I think I think we had two different debates. I think you were sort of saying, does he belong at flat demi? I'm like, does he really belong at God? And the thing is, in that team, he's pretty good.
Nobody does what he does, and at the level in which he does it.
Yeah. I mean, when he's got that regen on him, like in the perfect setup, yeah, man. And when you got the right amount of death proofs on him, he's going to punch a hole through the moon. I wish I had him at 7 reds. I'm still contemplating doing it because that splash damage he does in that team is so good. Not even in the whole team, just if he's got him and Thanos is enough. But yeah, I think in the right team, whether it's in raids with Minerva, whether it's in Black Order in Arena, I think, yeah. The question is, if we both agree with God, our debate then was, you were saying he's a demi +1, I was saying low demi +2, only because of the speed.
Yeah.
And the fact that he doesn't get that auto taunt without Thanos earlier.
Well, and I think the fact that he has such low armor, I think takes him out of the demigod conversation. I'm comfortable with the low demigod +2.
Yeah. This would be a controversial one for sure. Because, I mean, the stats that he has is so damn good, except for his speed and the fact that that taunt comes out later. And
his armor.
If he's in the wrong... And his armor. And if he's in the wrong team, he doesn't get the regen. You can strip everything that's good off him. So I think low demi is probably the place. Plus the 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Graviton. Actually, these next 3 were quite tough to work out where we're going to put them. Graviton, when he's skilled up in the right team, I think is incredibly good. Incredibly good. Like whether it's Spider-Verse or AIM or whatever, when things drop below 50% and they get that extra duration of a stun, I still maintain none of us are using Graviton right. There's a team out there that none of us have thought of at the moment that's just like, this guy is God tier in the right team. But he's very squishy and he's so dependent. Everything on his kit is tied to be in the right spot, right? So I think he feels like he should be a demi, but if you take away all the synergies or if the enemy team has a cleanse, And he's just terrible.
Yep.
So, well, not terrible, but he's well below average. So, yeah, I think he's probably okay here, right?
Yeah, I think we got that right.
Korath was one that we were debating about.
Yeah.
Is he low demi? I think his damage alone, I just wish he didn't have the RNG. If he guaranteed that ability block, I think he's here with a bullet.
If he was any slower, he would not be here.
Yeah.
I mean, any slower, he wouldn't be here. But the fact that his speed is what it is puts him in low demigod.
He's tough. This one's a real tough one. He's either just scraping in by the skin of his teeth, or he's down. Would you rather have him or Scientist Supreme? Ooh. Yeah. This is a tough one, bro. This is a tough one. Because where did we fall on it? Was it me pushing for good? I feel like it was.
I feel like it was too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was on the side of my hatred for RNG is both for in-game mechanics and loot boxes, right? So I'm pretty consistent there. Anyone that has RNG kits, I'm like, man, why can't we just have it so it does what it does? Like, Ultimus is the same reason with that basic. And we've got a hot take on that too. Oh, man. Well, all right, let's put it this way. When he's with Ultimus or Creed, is he a +1? I feel like he's flat wherever he goes. I don't think he gets that much better in the right team. Or except for Mercs, though. He does get pretty good in Mercs. Man.
I don't know. I still like him here. Flat low demi.
This is not a hill to die. I think this one might come down to a chat. Like, it's literally so close. What does chat think? Do you think he stays here? Do you think he drops to good? Good. Sounds like good. Yep, let's roll. Oh, wait. Right. I just realized that was Dogger like 5 times just saying drop. All right. Book Hunter's opting for banana. All right, yeah, I think Korath can drop. Now, here's the question, though. If he's dropping, does Ronan go with him? I don't know. Ronan has a kit, man. And
yes, he does.
The question is that kit a flat low demi, or is it a good +1? He's definitely not average. Get out of here.
No.
He's definitely not average. That one I'll definitely kick out of the park right away. Even with the minion rework, I don't know that he got that much. But outside of Kree, is he this high up? So I know he scales well, but then again, not everyone's going to have a 6 or a 7. Maybe good +1.
Okay, so he's clearing 2 positive effects on a basic.
Yep.
He's summoning on his special.
Yep.
Clearing negative effects from all allies, not just Kree.
Yep.
His ult is ability blocking and 2-turn ability block. The passive is where the Kree gain energy.
He does have that pretty sexy ability block. I'll give you that.
2-turn ability block. I'm comfortable with the low demi.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight you too hard on that one, especially because he scales really well. Like, he's one of those characters where he makes me nervous so much greater. And he's in that middle ground as well where, I mean, I clone him all the time with Sinister because it's like he does all those things. Like, I really do. Like, in raids, if I've got Sinister in my, like, second team after I've lost my first wave and I don't want to do a heal, I'm like, nah, man, I'm cloning him because I get the cleanse, I get the ability block, I can strip things off. And people are saying in chat, well, I wish I had him at 7 red stars. At 7 red stars, like, he's borderline flat demi, right? I've seen him used in Arena because he's perfect in Arena or even in PvP at that high because no one's going to ban him, no one's going to pick him, no one's going to kill him first. And if he gets that ability block with big red stars, you die. That's the end of it. So I think I'm happy enough with low demi. Vision, we debated a fair bit. I don't think he goes higher up to demi anymore. I think once upon a time he did, but I think he's flat low demi now. Like, his focus is the main issue. You got to take him up to T14. You got to take him up to. Oh, you reckon?
I don't even think he's low demigod. This is one that we really went back and forth on, and you pushed for the low demigod on him.
Well, his kit on paper is still very good, and if the focus comes up, I mean, realistically, he's got bleeds out on deck from the basic. He's got ability block really quick. For all tech characters, he's spawning D up for 2 turns out of the gate. I will concede that if it goes longer than a couple of turns, his usability falls off. And he can knock 2 AoEs over everyone. So I think if we're factoring in the T14 like we talked about, which overcomes his weakness, I think he stays here. But he doesn't get a +1. Even though he has teams he's going to synergize with, like tech or power armor or whatever, I don't think he deserves a +1 anymore. The only way he would get a +1 is if we dropped him down to good, but I don't think he falls that far. He's still very, very usable.
Yeah, this for me is one of the most misleading because at tier 14, he is low demigod, but at tier 13, he is not low demigod.
It's incredible how much focus is back-ended into his kit. Like, there's a few characters when we went through and we're like, he's just terrible. And then we're looking at him, like even Hawkeye. Like, Hawkeye literally moved up a whole tier because we didn't realize how good his focus went up at T14. We were like, what? But yeah, man, it's crazy. I think he stays here.
Yeah.
All right.
At tier 14, I agree.
Okay. Into the fun stuff now. Into the real controversial takes in some cases.
You mean we haven't had any of those yet?
Oh, we've had a few, but that's all part of it, like, because everyone's playing experience is a little bit different. You're always going to have some things like that. All right, so Invisible Woman as a flat demi. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Thanos +1. He's definitely got in the right team. Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah. Yep. Proxima, I think, earns her spot here.
Agreed.
Yep. Strange, I think there's a lot of people that are going to ask for God, but I'm pretty sure this is where he lives. What did I say? Strange. I do this all the time. I always get those two backwards. They
look so similar.
Right? It's just one got a 10, one didn't, right? Sinister, I think, is so close to God, but the only way he becomes God if you're guaranteed every time that the enemy has a character that's amazing. Because if they don't, or if there's like a Drax or something like that, then all of a sudden he's useless for a couple of turns, right? So because he's so dependent to that, I think that really kind of falls off.
Well, and is he, think about it, at 4 red stars, is that clone all that wonderful?
Yeah, you're right. The 4 is kind of the tipping point. If you don't have at least 4 red stars, he's actively probably a bad character.
A hindrance.
Yeah. I completely agree with that statement. So I don't think he's God tier. I don't think he's a +1. I think he's very specific. I think if you have at least 6, but definitely 7 red stars, you can make a case for God, but not everyone's going to get back up there.
But even that still depends upon who you're facing.
Yeah, that's why I think he's probably fine at Demi. I want him to be that extra step there, but I don't think he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this one, did we debate this or were you on the same page as me? I don't think he's God anymore.
So originally I had him in the God tier, but you made a compelling case to move him down.
Yeah. His first turn is amazing, right? If they don't resist it. All right. And now we're seeing more of that being part of the game. But if we're assuming T14, he gets that off. Everything he does after that falls off a cliff outside of the Brotherhood team, right? His special's pretty good, right? But I don't think he stays... I don't think he stays a God anymore by himself. The real question that we had is the middle ground, right? Does he stay flat demi or does he get the +1 in a Brotherhood? Because he makes all the others a +1, but does he himself become better? That's the thing.
That's the thing. I don't think he gets all that better. Everybody else around him does, but he doesn't gain much.
I think he's flat. I really do. But I mean, there's going to be a lot of cases made for +1, right? It's one of those line balls. I think he's definitely not God anymore, right? Not by much, but he's definitely not God anymore. I just don't think that he's at that level to get a +1.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's Jugs. Jugs is definitely a flat demi, but he does become a lot better with Jugs. with Magneto. The question is it enough to become God? And I don't know if that's the case. The 2-turn taunt is pretty great. The extra speed is incredible. It's like, man.
He's too easy to counter anymore. You just a disrupt on him and he's done.
But not when he's with Mags. Getting a disrupt off when you've got Mags is actually pretty hard. And the extra speed that he gets every time there's a hit, every time there's a crit, like the way all that gets fed to him, it's like, man, he could be a god in that team. I'm happy enough with flat Demi. I'm just trying to say, does he go up that high? I don't. If Mags doesn't, he probably doesn't. But it's close. So. Both of them are so close to that +1. Both of them are so close to that +1.
Yeah, I mean, if they had slightly more usability in Raid or another game mode outside of War, I mean, even Arena, I would say yeah, but I don't know that they have the usability. Yeah.
Now, Taskmaster has definitely become one of the greatest characters in War. And to be honest, just a flat-out great character. I think flat Demi. The only real question there is Demi +1. I don't think it's that good because the mercs around him don't lift him enough. Right?
Agreed.
But is he a god? Like that +1, you can make a case. I don't think he's a god that you could take him into any raid and he makes it better, right? It's friggin' close. To the point that maybe the +1 works. If it's PvP, oh man, of course he's God. We factored in PvP into a lot of decisions, but you got to think about Raid as well. Look, even DD3, I think he has a place too. You know what I mean? Like he's pretty much a demigod in every part of the game. But can you put him into any team and he's guaranteed to be amazing? A God tier? I don't know. With certain teams, he definitely is. So that's why he's probably a... Well, Gleason has already got the war tag anyway to basically say that he's going up there.
Yeah.
The question is, does he get the +1?
I don't know that he gets the +1.
Man, in that Merc team, he assists on every damn character. I can leave it here. Look, flat Demi's probably okay for now. But it's so close, man. Now, here's the one that you and I debated on, right? I think Merc Lieutenant is a low Demi +1. You want him to be here at flat Demi. I think he is low Demi +1 at a minimum. But I don't think he's a Demi. Look at who else is here, bro. Right? What do you think?
You plug him into any team, they instantly get better. Not just the Mercs, any team.
I know, and that's why,
And evaluating them with the T4, his basic is going to grant ability energy to...
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. It was the energy feed. The energy feed is what basically kept him here because it basically means he's going to have speed and offense up the whole time. The problem is him getting to that first turn. If he gets to that first turn, it can absolutely skyrocket upwards. Like, I agree, he is one of those characters now that once the ball starts rolling, he's pretty good. The problem is, man, there's counters that can be had because of disrupt and ability blocks, and he's so squished that even if like a Korath ripped out from the start, he's done skis. Or even an AoE, man, he's so soft, he's so squishy that even the wrong splash damage from a character we debated about earlier, like a Daredevil, is enough to knock him off the map. Like, that's the reason that a lot of us would say he's great in DD3 on paper, but just misses out. I can see the case you're making, and the kit makes sense. If he had, let's say, 30-40% more health, I don't think there'd be a debate in this. I think he'd be a flat demigod. His kit on paper is great. It's better than it ever has been now because of the fact that he does have on that basic, he gets the energy feed. Cass, thank you much for the tier 1 sub. Wouldn't be a tier 1 stream without your name attached to it, bro. So yeah, getting that basic out there. I just don't know if it's a solid demi. It's closer than it ever has been now. Like, we're talking maybe an 8 out of 10 on the low demi. but I don't think he's a 1 out of 10 on this. For Merc LT. In Mercs?
Easy low Demi +1.
Low Demi +1, yeah. And the question is, though, do we give him a war tag?
I think so.
Because then he probably goes up to the level that you're talking about. So maybe, yeah, low Demi +1 with the war tag. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, this is the opposite now. You wanted Merc LT to be here. I want JJ to be here. And this is, I said to you, people are going to go, you're an idiot, the second I said it. But you look at her kit, man. You look at her kit.
Yeah.
She can take any tank in the game and take away everything they've got. Every one of those buffs, all gone. Is going to cleanse everything from your team, and energy feeds on the top of that. And everyone seems to forget this. She has an insanely high base damage. That triple tap that she does on a basic is so friggin' good. And the best part is, you can't stop her, right? Because her natural resistance is so high that you really can't do anything. I think that she's an incredibly good character, and I think that she does, with that kit, get pretty much this high. I can see the case for low Demi, but it's pretty good. And the people in the chat are kind of making the point that the speed is the only thing that lets her down. I think if she had higher speed, this wouldn't even be an argument. It wouldn't. Or even better than that, if her basic works the way that it sounds like it should, that she could like feed energy back to herself so that she could then do her cleanse or her ult again faster, maybe.
Just run her with Merc LT.
Let's just put him back down in low. Marino saying not a game changer. Couldn't disagree more. She, in the right team, she can absolutely change it. And I guess that's the question. Does she do it by herself though? She makes any team better. A cleanser, a buff stripper, like the best buff stripper in the game on a single target. The only one that's better really is probably Ultimus, who I noticed I think you've dropped him from here as well.
I think we did too, yeah.
Yeah, because he was in this yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the question. I don't think she's lower than low Demi. No way. And I would make a case that she's up here. She's Karnak 2.0. Please. Karnak is useless compared to JJ.
Yeah, I think she's up here. I think she makes it. I think she's the low end of Demigod, but I think she makes it.
I don't think there has been anyone in chat that's agreed with us so far.
I know.
That's why I think it's controversial. But honestly, I mean, I've had her to T13, right? I've had her in T13 for a long time. And she still does amazing work. Worst case, as people are saying, I think LD +1. But I really do think there is a case to be made about this. Like, I strongly considered her. If she wasn't bio, she would be T14 in my city team right now. I would have taken her in between a lot of other people. She was incredible in DD2. She's incredible at what she does, right? I'm pretty comfortable. This is a hair split for me. She's either very, very high low Demi, or definitely low Demi +1, or here. And I think for this first one, I want to fight to put her here. She's a very underrated character. Very underrated, man.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Now, Rocket is one that I think he can probably take a step downstairs.
It's close.
I think he's down with a +1. When he's with Groot and Star-Lord, sure. But his damage is what he's always relied on.
And that's beginning to fall off a little bit.
Yeah. Like, I was playing around in a couple of the wars today, right? And, raids. And just sort of subbing that in from time to time. Kane, thanks for the sub, man. And, yeah, the damage doesn't add up to, like, the Hellas and all those sort of characters. So I think low Demi +1 makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight you on that one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everyone in the chat saying the same thing. It's right. It's really hard because we have Black Bolt now. Like, Black Bolt just makes it feel real bad, you know?
Yeah.
All right, Star-Lord, I think he holds on to his place here in flat Demi. I think the blind, the energy feed, the call-ins for assist, there's a lot of fun stuff in there for him. I think flat Demi. I don't think he's getting a plus anymore, but I think he's fine here as it is.
I think he's very similar to like Jessica Jones in that.
Yeah, I mean, he makes any team better. I mean, you put him in any cosmic team, that team goes from, a 5 to a 9. It's just so good. Yeah. Now, Falcon is one of the ones that I fought for pretty hard to be up here. Where were you on this? I can't remember if you agreed or not.
Easy demigod character for me. Easy.
Yeah, and then one of the things that really brought him up is PvP. Like, if you get him in a PvP match, because of the frequency of buffers in this game, your chances of winning that is so much better. And before we had the likes of Hela, before we had the likes of the Black Order, I mean, the reality is a lot of people that are just hitting Ultima 7 for the first time. Techwing is absolutely a relevant character right now, right? Absolutely still a relevant character. Relevant raid team for Techwing. So the question is, though, does he stay up here by himself, or does he need like a tag of some sort? Because it's not necessarily a +1 for a specific team, but things like raids, he sort of comes up out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, speed is king. And with his turn meter, he enables you to go. He's such an engine.
It's just the special, though. That's the problem, right? He's kind of at 4 red stars, which is where we're making this assumption. He's crazy good, right? He does everything that you want him to do. He manipulates speed like no one else can. Biggest speed independent boost in the game. But if he has low red stars, his damage sucks. Real bad outside of war. But with high red stars, he's not terrible, right? But I think just that special ability alone, if he was a little bit squishy, it wouldn't even be a debate. But I think he stays here. I really do.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Ironically, Fury was kind of hard what to do with him now. Does he hang on to Demi? I was making the case for low Demi +1 now.
I was making the case that he's still a god tier character.
All right, so show your work. I think in the right team, he can be a god tier character, but I don't think he's still got the juice now.
I think low demigod is too harsh. I'm good with demigod
Let
+1.
me put it this way. I don't think he's god in any situation. I think at best he's demi flat, but I think he's probably more suited to low demi +1. Because what he's offering mainly benefits that team. Like, he has the assist, but that's an RNG, right? He has the things that can get transferred to him. The main thing he's doing is spreading buffs. Now, the problem is there are so many buff clears. If he loses these buffs before that second turn, it's wasted. Like, literally, he's going to throw a defense up to the enemy team, and that's all it is. Like, I used him a lot in DD3, and that's where, for me, I was like, oh, man, he's really fallen away from the wayside. Like, I won DD1 in those first couple of weeks because he was that good back then. But now, like, I'm sitting there going, I can't summon his minions. I need the D up more. And I waste his whole kit because I'm trying to use him like he's Shuri, right? I just don't think he stays here. I think he's either demi-flat. He's definitely not God. He's either demi-flat or low demi +1. I think low demi +1.
I think his passive keeps him here. The speed up on spawn and on turn 50% chance to grant speed up to self and all shield minion allies.
But that's where you hit the nail on the head. I think you made more of a case there for low demi +1 rather than flat demi, because that means he has to be in a shield team to get that status.
He's still giving it to himself.
Yeah. But what's he going to do by himself? He's not that amazing a character by itself. It's what he does to everyone around him. You know what I mean?
Okay, so it's basic. You are a little bit of chain and generate ability energy on crit.
Which his natural crit is not that wonderful.
Right.
Like, you need assault on that team to make that happen.
Low demi +1.
Yeah, I think so.
What about the war tag? If we're giving it to Coulson and Medic.
Yeah, because that team doesn't really function without him, does it?
That team doesn't work without him.
Yeah, I could live with low demi +1 war tag.
How the mighty have fallen.
All right, then there were 2. Loki-san. I think he stays here. Here. He's good enough in that kit. I mean, that defense down, calling 2 in for murder, And then, yeah, especially in the Asgardians team, it's insane what he does for them. The fact that he doesn't get better himself is the only reason he doesn't have a +1, but definitely makes that better.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple of people making cases, just to go back one point, that since the Red Star rework, is the minions on Fury enough to keep him where he is? The problem is it going to matter unless you're less than 6 or 7 reds?
Probably not.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with low Demi +1 for now. I think so. I don't think he's God.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Loki, any objections from the community on that one? I know the next one's going to have objections. Pika, because I had objections. No reason for that in the chat, guys. Everyone here has an equal opinion. All right, keep that sort of stuff out of it, please. Yeah, Black Widow. What do you think?
I still think she's a demigod character. The speed up, the fact that she copies and clears all positive effects during stealth. I mean, that's huge.
I want to bring your argument against you now. I want to bring your argument against you. You fought so hard 10 seconds ago for Merc Lieutenant.
I did.
Do you think she's better than Merc Lieutenant?
You son of a...
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Exactly. So she's got to go down too.
For now.
Look, she's so close. I mean, the fact that she has that cleanse only in the Avengers team, but I just do think now, especially with the energy coming in, that, yeah, I think it's more situational for her to be better. Like when she does get the right steal or she gets the right stun, sure, but Merc Lieutenant works, every time. So I think they both drop down. But he gets the +1, she doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the guy that... I don't know what happened when we transferred this list across. The guy that's missing, and this is the one that's the hardest to judge right now because we know everyone is eventually going to have a 5 Red Star Ultimus. Where do you place him? I think his kit at 5 reds is friggin' good. I think it's low Demi +1, though. Only because of his speed. But you can get around that with the right team. Yeah. Community input on this one, I'd be definitely interested. What do you think, guys? Ultimus. You think he's only good? Yeah, he can't be 4 reds. He has to be 5 reds, right? So we know that there's a fixed thing on him. We know we have all the fixed quantities. He's one of 2 characters in the game that every player can maximize on their own, right? And because of that, I think he's low Demi +1. A few people here saying good +2. The reason I don't think good, the reason I think he's actually very, very good, and low Demi at least, his basic, there is RNG there. It can do some insane stuff. I wish the RNG wasn't there. But that ultimate, that's going to be like having an offensive JJ, right? It's not just moving the buffs, it's going to punch him to the moon, right? It's going to be insanely good. That's special. The fact he's going to fleece, offensive buffs and get them all onto himself in an AoE. Whenever he gets a kill, he's like feeding out turn meter. He's got a lot in that kit to love, man. And when he gets the damage, yeah, he'd be Demi if he was faster or if the speed he could give himself more, but he can't. I think it's tough, man. He could be Demigod. But he's very specific and he needs a little bit of assistance with that turn meter. With a like Kree Noble or someone like that, dude, comfortable Demi.
Yeah, I think probably a low Demi +1.
I think low Demi +1, yeah. Yeah, without the red stars, yeah, good at best. But with those 5, because we know that's guaranteed, that's a slightly different way we have to analyze him.
Yeah.
Cass, no. The way we're doing this is basically something that's achievable by everyone as a minimum. So that's T14, 7 red stars, 4 reds, and T4s. Yeah. So we're trying to make
7 yellow stars, 4 red.
7 yellow. Yeah. Exactly. But only 4 reds, just because no one can be guaranteed of getting those, right? Otherwise, the potential is higher. So we had to put an average somewhere, and Red Stars was it. All right, so you're going to put him back in at low demi?
Yeah.
+1.
Yep.
My man. All right, here we go. The big boys. The end. Here we go. I don't think there's going to be any surprises here, really, is there? Oh, actually, there is one that we were debating on pretty hard, right?
Yeah, there is one.
That's right. I forgot about that one. All right, here we go. Black Bolt, no question. Phoenix, no question. Hela, no question. Yeah, I knew you were going to get that. So, so Yo-Yo is the one in question. I think there is a case to be made, ladies and gents, that she could be a god tier. Everyone else up there, I don't think there's a debate on the board. I think Moore, Ultron, Shuri, Captain Marvel, Minerva, all god tiers. The question is Yo-Yo god mode? Because tell me one game mode in any team, that if you put Yo-Yo in it, it doesn't get better. I cannot think of one game mode that you could put her in and she doesn't make that team better. That's the thing. I cannot think of it. She's one of the most flexible characters in the team. Does she lose a lot of functionality without Black Bolt? Of course she does. Every team loses a lot of functionality without Black Bolt. Come on now. But that's the thing. I think she's guaranteed Demi +1 at the absolute minimum. And I'm talking 9.9 out of 10. The thing is though, man, I feel like that's where it is.
At Gear 14, her passive is just going to mitigate so much damage every single time.
Are you saying in PvP you don't think it gets better? I think she's amazing in PvP. I think she's really, really good. I mean, she's in almost all the meta raid teams. I can't see much of a case for taking her down, man. Oh, she's in 100% advantageous in PvP. There's a if you put an invisible woman in there or another protector, sure, she's gonna be crap. All right, so there you go. If there is some teams, if you put in with another protector, I'll pay that point. She does get worse. But if that's the only game mode we're talking about, I don't know, man. I just don't know. You're right. On paper, if you look at that squad, you go, Yo-Yo, really? But she's just one of those silent carriers, man. I don't know. What do you think?
I think she makes it.
God tier with the -1.
She's so fast. If she wasn't insanely fast, I think she would not crack the squad. But because of how fast she is, I think it gets her over the line.
Chan Sepper, I didn't put her in version 1 of that team. The version 2 of More in Order, there's 3 nodes where I use her. There's 3 nodes where I use Cull. So it's definitely happening. And yeah, Cass, I agree. Counterpoints are required, man. That's why we did this with the community. We could have just released this list without this discussion. But yeah, and I knew this before we came in, that I was going to be fighting a lot. I can live with Demigod +1, but God, I want to see her at that tier. I think she deserves it. But if you think she's +1 on the Demi, I can live with it. But it's so goddamn close. I think she's god tier.
I think she fits here.
Boom, hot take. I look forward to Reddit absolutely nailing us in the anus for that one. Now, here's the other thing as well, though, right? When it comes to Ultron, does he actually hang on here?
I think that he does. It's close. It's not a slam dunk, but I think that he does.
The funny thing is, I think that Black Order, in a way, actually helped Ultron, right? Because before that, he was kind of eliminated from most of the game modes. But then, yeah, in almost every mode now, he's back with a vengeance. And with teams like More in Order as well, having him as a 5th is still pretty fantastic. So he's getting a lot of runs out of raids. In PvP, like if someone doesn't pick a Black Bolt and the other person is dumb enough not to pick the Ultron, you're going to win, right? Because he's so damn good. There's so few counters to him without it. I think he's held on. I know a lot of people saying with Red Stars he's fallen off a long way. I think ISO 8's going to go a long way to bringing him back a little bit. But yeah, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he stays.
I think he stays too.
All right. So that's going to do it for the official chat. So let's talk about let's go into the community backlash section, if you will. Let's talk about, is there some people after that discussion, and we tried to sort of hear a lot of this, right? Is there anyone that you think deserves to be higher on the list than they are, than what you see at the moment, or should be lower?